On the mountain, after a short discussion, the upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan quickly made a decision. Zhao Feng, because you have the guts and courage to admit your guilt, your punishment will be decreased. Take Zhao Feng to the central hall. Clan Master Haiyun let out a long laugh and waved his hand as his eyes went cold. As soon as his words finished. So. Several experts of the clan, ranging from the 6th and 7th sky of the Ascended Realm to the half-step True Spirit Realm, flew toward Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng smiled but didn't speak, glancing toward the sky. Plop, plop, plop. The eyes of the disciples that attempted to capture Zhao Feng lost their light as they fell from the skies. A cold and evil mental energy aura filled the air. Who's there? The upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan turned toward the sky with shock. In the clouds, a cold youth clad in pure black stood on a flying beast. This is the result of whoever disrespects my master. The cold youth's eyes were mysterious, and a ball of scarlet and darkness seemed to appear in his eyes. What a terrifying eye bloodline! The elders of the Broken Moon clan hiccuped coldly. Not only was the youth's eye bloodline powerful, his aura had also reached the true mystic rank. One had to know that, apart from the 2 helpers the Broken Moon clan had requested, the remaining elders were all at the true human rank. Isn't that flying beast the one that was surveying us? Yanggan's group was puzzled. Not long ago, the exact same flying beast was carrying the experts of the Broken Moon clan to keep an eye on them. In the blink of an eye, the flying beast was being controlled by the cold youth. Doesn't that youth look somewhat familiar? Some of the geniuses turned toward the youth. It's him. Bei Mua's heart skipped a beat. Lin Tong. Yanggan took in a cold breath. Back at the 13 Clans Alliance banquet, the name Lin Tong was a nightmare. Apart from Zhao Feng, Song Yuyue, and a few other geniuses, no one was able to withstand a single glance from him. Back then, both Yanggan and Bei Mua were defeated by him in just one move. Even years after the event, Lin Tong still struck fear in their hearts. Now, Lin Tong's achievements greatly surpassed Yanggan and Bei Mua. Lin Tong was extremely talented and he had a powerful eye bloodline. He could be said to be one of the top geniuses of the 13 countries. At this moment in time, everyone broke out into discussion with Lin Tong's appearance. This Lin Tong is from the Iron Dragon Alliance. He's even a core member of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Why would he? Bei Mua didn't understand. Both he and Lin Tong were considered to be from the Iron Dragon Alliance, but Lin Tong's status was far higher than Bei Mua's. He was accepted into the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. He even entered the Scarlet Moon inheritance. What made everyone more shocked was that even someone as strong as Lin Tong called Zhao Feng his master. Lin Tong, don't be disrespectful. I've come to apologize truthfully to Clan Master Haiyun. Zhao Feng smiled faintly as he walked slowly toward the central hall. On the way, no one dared to attack Zhao Feng. Clan Master Haiyun's eyes twinkled as he led the upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan to arrive at the central hall first. Zhao Feng walked very slowly and saw many familiar faces on the way. Halfway across the mountain. Zhao Feng, you little brat. Why did you come back? 2 white-bearded elders looked on with puzzlement and open eyes. Old Guan, Old Zhang. Zhao Feng revealed a warm smile. A sizzle of warmth appeared in his heart as he remembered the days when the 2 fought over who would take him as their disciple. Zhao Feng had learned the foundation of pills and arrays from these 2. But in the end, Zhao Feng didn't choose the Tao of pills nor the world of arrays. Zhao Feng, why did you come back? The 2 glanced toward Zhao Feng with unwillingness. The 2 had high hopes and expectations for Zhao Feng, but they didn't understand the latter's current actions. How could the 2 be willing to watch a prodigy like Zhao Feng fall? Please relax. How could I disappoint you? Zhao Feng smiled faintly and turned around after saying this. Old Zhang and Old Guan looked at each other with a look of surprise. It wasn't hard for them to see that Zhao Feng had reached the true spirit realm. Under close contact, they could tell that his aura was unfathomable, greater than any elder of the Broken Moon clan. The 2 watched Zhao Feng walk away with solemn expressions. In front of the central hall, Clan Master Haiyun, the regulations elder, and remaining upper echelons were waiting. Above the central hall, the aura of lightning from the Floating Crest Palace lit up. Floating Crest Palace. Long time no see. Zhao Feng smiled and nodded his head as an unbelievable scene occurred. The Floating Crest Palace seemed to acknowledge Zhao Feng's greeting and started to hum as if welcoming back an old friend. The expressions of the upper echelons in front of the central hall were slightly ugly. The Floating Crest Palace was the core inheritance of the Broken Moon clan. What did it mean by this? Ha ha ha! To have entered this place. What an arrogant brat! A booming sound came from the sky, so a large figure stepped through the air and caused the winds to howl. The aura of this scarlet-purple male was dense and thick and radiated a terrifying energy that caused the true spirit realm elders present to shake. True mystic rank. It seems to be the peak true mystic rank. The regulations elder, Granny Luiyue, and other elders all took in a deep breath. 7th Core Elder. Clan Master Haiyun's face was filled with joy as he greeted the newcomer. The newcomer was one of the 2 reinforcements Clan Master Haiyun called for. A few days ago, Clan Master Haiyun heard the news of Zhao Feng's return and felt uneasy. After all, Zhao Feng's miracles were famous across the 13 countries. Who knew what kind of path First Elder had left for Zhao Feng? He might even be able to bring in reinforcements from strong countries, or even great countries. Therefore, Clan Master Haiyun asked the Iron Dragon Alliance for assistance. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng had already killed 2 core elders of the Iron Dragon Alliance, so they sent the high-ranking 7th Core Elder over. Any one of the core elders was a being that Clan Master Haiyun could only look up to. Furthermore, this core elder was ranked 7th. On top of that, Clan Master Haiyun also hired a powerful ally. He. Clan Master Haiyun, you don't need to worry. A light laugh rang from far away. This newcomer was a middle-aged man dressed like a scholar. Ripples of silver came from his feet and he had a sword on his back. It's Xiang Yunzi. Clan Master Haiyun could even hire him? This Xiang Yunzi doesn't belong to any force. He's a cultivator who roams the 13 countries. Many elders of the Broken Moon clan recognized the identity of this person. In the world of cultivation, most experts came from a clan or family, but there were exceptions. Some freelancers also had the chance to become a top-tier expert, although the chances were very low. This Xiang Yunzi was such a person, and he had a good relationship with the 13 clans. Under normal circumstances, Xiang Yunzi acted peacefully and never participated in the clashes of the clans. However, Clan Master Haiyun managed to hire him, meaning that he definitely paid a huge price. In front of the central hall, the appearance of the 7th Core Elder and Xiang Yunzi made the atmosphere tense up. However, compared to the 7th Core Elder who was full of enmity, Xiang Yunzi appeared much more peaceful. Xiang Yunzi had a smile on his face and spoke, "Nephew Zhao Feng, your master Situmo knows me well. Since you've come back to the Broken Moon clan with honesty and truthfulness, I hope that we can solve this problem without violence." Zhao Feng acted as if he didn't hear anything as he proceeded forward. He only had one target, and that was Clan Master Haiyun. "Brat, even if you're not planning to accept this, I'll make you accept it." A scarlet-purple light glowed from the 7th Core Elder as his aura turned fiery hot. The upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan shook. The 36 core elders of the Iron Dragon Alliance were all at the true mystic rank, and the top 10 had battle power only below those at the true lord rank. This scarlet-purple male was ranked 7th and was a rare body cultivator who relied on his physical body to crush others at the true mystic rank. Even those at the true lord rank would be threatened in close combat. Pong! Just as the scarlet-purple male was charging toward Zhao Feng in a wave of flames. Soaring sky cloud slashing sword. Xiang Yunzi's eyes flashed as his sword was drawn. A brilliant arc of light intertwined with lightning, mist, wind, and clouds swept toward Zhao Feng. At this point in time, the 2 true mystic rank experts made their moves. However, right as the scarlet-purple male and Xiang Yunzi moved, they felt an uneasiness come from their soul. In the air, on top of a flying beast. Scarlet Demon Moon Eye. Lin Tong's eyes turned scarlet black and 2 blood-colored moons appeared. Bam bam. 2 flashes of a bloody moon. filled with cold killing intent, hit the scarlet-purple male and Xianxia. Wawa! Xianxia and the scarlet-purple male both shook as they spat out a mouthful of blood. The two raised their heads in shock, looking at the cold youth in black whom they had previously ignored. The once most terrifying bloodline of the 13 countries showed its power after 2 years. What a fearful bloodline technique! In just one glance, 2 true mystic rank experts were injured. Lin Tong is 100 times stronger than before. Discussion broke out across the place, especially for those who had once participated in the 13 Clans Alliance. Bei Moi, who was standing in the back, couldn't calm down. This Lin Tong has indeed entered the Scarlet Moon inheritance. He's probably unparalleled under the True Lord rank. It was hard to imagine how such a terrifying genius was only a slave and subordinate of Zhao Feng. Broken Moon Clan in front of the Central Hall Division. The disciples on the hill held their breath in shock. At this instant in time, Lin Tong, who was in the sky, was the main focus. Clan Master Haiyun, the Regulations Elder, and others of the upper echelons, as well as the 2 true mystic rank reinforcements, were filled with wariness and fear. These 2 true mystic rank cultivators were injured in just one glance. One couldn't describe how terrifying this genius was. One had to know Xianxia was a roaming cultivator that traveled the 13 countries, and the number of those who could be compared to him could be counted on one hand. The 7th Core Elder was also extremely powerful and could defeat most other true mystic ranks with just his body. Most people under the True Lord rank weren't his match. These 2 couldn't block a single glance from Lin Tong. Lin Tong, how dare you betray the alliance and join this brat? The 7th Core Elder roared in anger as he wiped the blood dripping from his mouth. Lin Tong, Bei Moi, and the 7th Core Elder all belonged to the Iron Dragon Alliance. Of course, the status of Lin Tong and the 7th Core Elder was much higher. Facing the 7th Core Elder's questioning, Lin Tong remained silent. However, when he turned toward the blue-haired youth below, helplessness seemed to appear in his eyes. These details obviously didn't escape the experts present. Even someone as scary as Lin Tong is willing to be Zhao Feng's subordinate? Back at the 13 Clans Alliance banquet, Zhao Feng and Lin Tong were on opposite ends since they both possessed an bloodline. The ancient shrine that Lin Tong belonged to was a small chapter of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion that was left behind in the 13 countries. Thus, the ancient shrine betrayed the 13 clans the second the battle started at the Dragon Concealing Lake. Lin Tong was definitely a core member of the Iron Dragon Alliance, and he was even utilized by the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. It wasn't hard to imagine that Lin Tong was most likely being threatened right now. Furthermore, Lin Tong didn't explain anything to the 7th Core Elder. This one is only here to apologize to Clan Master Haiyun. It's best that no outsiders interfere. A light laugh came from the blue-haired youth. The hearts of Clan Master Haiyun and company shook. It was hard to imagine how strong Zhao Feng would be if someone as terrifying as Lin Tong was threatened by him. Unknowingly, the youth in front of them became respected. No one dared to make any rash moves. The 7th Core Elder and Xianxia were both filled with wariness. They couldn't see through him. If a mere slave of Zhao Feng was enough to defeat them instantly, it was unimaginable how strong Zhao Feng would be. Ta, ta. The atmosphere was silent apart from the casual footsteps of the blue-haired youth. Finally, at a certain moment, he's close. That brat's almost entered the range of the array. Clan Master Haiyun. The 8 Dragon Slaughterer Demon Array is ready. The heartbeats of the Broken Moon Clan upper echelons sped up. The 8 Dragon Slaughterer Demon Array was their final move. This 8 Dragon Slaughterer Demon Array is an ancient array that cost a countless amount of materials and money to build. Furthermore, 8 true spirit realms and 64 elites of the 6th and 7th sky are needed to start this array. 8 experts of the true spirit realm were already prepared in front of the central hall. Bei Moi was one of these 8 true spirit realms. The array is complete. Haha! That brat's entered the range of the array. If he moves a bit closer and enters the center of the array, he won't be able to escape unharmed even if he was a true Lord rank. The reinforcements and the elites of the Broken Moon Clan were overjoyed. They had complete confidence in their 8 Dragon Slaughterer Demon Array. Zhao Feng, don't. Below the hill, Old Guan and Old Zhang shouted out. Old Zhang participated in the construction of this 8-dragon slaughterer demon array, so he knew the power of this array. Unfortunately, their warning came too late. Zhao Feng had already stepped into the center of the 8-dragon slaughterer demon array. This was the perfect moment to start the array, and everyone in the Broken Moon clan was excited. 8-dragon slaughterer demon array? I heard Old Zhang talk about this a bit when I was learning in the clan mission division. A light laughter came from the blue-haired youth standing in the center of the array. What? Everyone's heart jumped as they looked toward Zhao Feng in disbelief. Clan Master Haiyun suddenly felt a strong surge of uneasiness. This youth in front of them obviously knew about arrays. Not only did he know about the existence of the 8-dragon slaughterer demon array, he entered it with a smile. At this moment, the experts and the reinforcements of the Broken Moon clan felt a coldness spread across their bodies. This youth almost made them crumble. Xianxia was filled with regret. As he was invited by Clan Master Haiyun, he knew the plan to face Zhao Feng and knew how strong this array was. However, reality exceeded his expectations. All of this was because of this unfathomable blue-haired youth. Back then, Zhao Feng managed to escape from this area with the title of #1 genius of the 13 countries. Now that he was back, no one knew his true strength. Don't be fooled by this brat. We can kill him if we work together, the regulations elder shouted. 8-dragon slaughterer demon array. Open. 8 experts at the True Spirit realm circulated their chi of True Spirit while the 64 elites of the Ascended realm also put in their energy. Instantly, 8 bright lights, each dozens of yards long, locked down the area Zhao Feng was in like 8 chains. 8-dragon slaughterer demon array. So strong. Each of the 8 dragon-shaped chains are probably as powerful as a peak true mystic rank. The middle and upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan were trembling with excitement. Many of them would normally never see such a magnificent and powerful array in their lives. Cho! 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 Zhao Feng remained unmoving as the 8 dragon-shaped chains instantly locked him in like a cage. Bam! 2 of the chains even wrapped around Zhao Feng's legs. Unfortunately, I would only be threatened if it was 8 true mystic ranks working together. Zhao Feng sighed somewhat regretfully. His body released a transparent barrier of lightning and wind that pushed the 2 dragon-shaped chains aside. Ding ding ding! Sparks flew everywhere as the 8 dragon-shaped chains were flung away. The 8-dragon slaughterer demon array needs 8 dragons to be one. But you aren't in sync with each other and haven't practiced enough, so you can only use 60 to 70% of its maximum power. Zhao Feng shook his head. He slowly approached Clan Master Haiyun, who was in the center of the array. Junior, don't overestimate yourself. Clan Master Haiyun's voice was already starting to tremble. No one thought that Zhao Feng would be so strong that he could casually stroll inside the 8-dragon slaughterer demon array. Clan Master Haiyun, this one is only here to apologize. Why are you so nervous? Zhao Feng smiled with his hands behind his back. It seemed as if he really didn't want Clan Master Haiyun's life. Looks like the new generation is terrifying indeed. An ancient voice suddenly sounded from the side of the Central Hall division. This voice had a magical power that allowed everyone to hear it clearly even though it was in a deep and low tone. This voice, Lin Tong and Bei Mua's expression both changed dramatically, while Clan Master Haiyun, the 7th Core Elder, and company shook. At this moment in time, the air seemed to freeze except for the ancient voice. Shwa! 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 3 black-hooded figures in the corner of the Central Hall division threw off their robes and revealed their original appearances. 3 terrifying auras spread across the Central Hall division. 2 males and 1 female seemed like kings of hell standing in front of the hall. Shwa! One of them was a male in mystic robes who held a metal fan. His skin and clothes seemed to be metallic and they radiated a cold aura. Sho! A streak of silver and gold flashed in the air. Zhao Feng's footsteps stopped. Behind him, the mystic-robed man's fan was only a foot away from Zhao Feng's back. The sharpness of this fan seemed able to cut Zhao Feng in half within a flash. True Lord Taishao. Clan Master Haiyun and the elders of the Broken Moon clan couldn't help exclaiming when they saw this man appear. True Lord Taishao. This name was like a nightmare imprinted in the minds of the 13 clans. Greetings to the 3 palace lords. The 7th core elder revealed a look of overfilled joy. Yulong Taishao Baiji. 3 palace lords. How is this possible? Bei Mua's face was filled with shock. Before he left, the upper echelons of the alliance told him that 3 experts would support the Broken Moon clan against Zhaofeng. However, these 3 experts were the 3 palace lords of the Iron Dragon Alliance. Greetings, Palace Lords Yulong Taishao and Baiji. Lin Tong's forehead started to sweat coldly and he became uneasy. Shua! Shua! Along with True Lord Taishao, the other male and female formed a triangle that surrounded Zhaofeng. The person with the strongest aura was Palace Lord Yulong. He had long black hair and an actual black horn on his head. He was covered in a pure black armor that radiated an old and mysterious aura. His existence seemed to be a nightmare from hell. On the left was Palace Lord Baiji. She wore an elegant dress and had the face of an angel but the body of a demon. Her aura was extremely enchanting, and every smile and action of hers seemed able to suck out one's soul. Bei Mua, good job. Zhaofeng indeed returned to the Broken Moon clan. Clan Master Haiyun, without your help, we wouldn't be able to ambush this brat so easily. Palace Lord Yulong's hair blew in the wind as his voice boomed. Time and space seemed to freeze at this moment, and no one from the Broken Moon clan dared to even breathe. 3 of the 4 major figures of the Iron Dragon Alliance appeared in the tiny Broken Moon clan. 3 palace lords. Looks like I was only bait. Clan Master Haiyun let out a breath, but he smiled bitterly at the same time. Looks like I was only bait. Clan Master Haiyun calmed down. He was certain that he didn't need to worry about his safety anymore. Any one of the Iron Dragon Alliance Palace Lords were enough to tear the clouds. Furthermore, the combination of 3 Palace Lords was enough to change the skies of the cloud area. However, while Clan Master Haiyun was happy, his heart was filled more with bitterness. No matter how much planning he did, he was just some small bait. Yet, Clan Master Haiyun was also curious. 3 Palace Lords came together to face a junior? Wasn't this exaggerating the problem? At this moment in time, the entire Sky Moon Mountain was dead silent. The mental energy auras of 3 true Lord ranks made the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi freeze, and everyone trembled uneasily. From the clan master to the elders to the disciples of the Broken Moon clan, they were all stunned and uneasy. No one would have thought that the confrontation between Zhaofeng and Clan Master Haiyun would result in such a situation. However, a cloud of curiosity covered the heads of those from the Broken Moon clan. What's so special about Zhaofeng that 3 palace lords of the Iron Dragon Alliance would come together and ambush him? The entire Broken Moon clan was in shock. So, at the same time, the sound of flying came from outside the Broken Moon clan. More than 10 powerful auras headed toward the Broken Moon clan, and each of these auras were enough to shake the hearts of the upper echelon of the Broken Moon clan. True mystic rank. All of these auras are at the 2nd heaven of the true spirit realm. 1, 2, 3. My lord, the Iron Dragon Alliance sent out another 10 core elders. The Broken Moon clan panicked. Normally, any single one of these core elders would be enough to shake the Broken Moon clan, and today, 10 had come. Of course, the 3 palace lords were the ones that were most respected. The Iron Dragon Alliance sent out so many forces just to kill Zhaofeng? Clan Master Haiyun's heart couldn't calm down. 1 or 2 core elders were enough to destroy the entire Broken Moon clan. Clan Master Haiyun and the upper echelons could subtly tell that this was unusual. After this shock, everyone's gaze returned to the origin of all this Zhaofeng. This stunning scene was all because of this one youth. Mysterious light surrounded this youth that was once the number 1 genius of the 13 countries. The weird thing was that, although the 3 palace lords had Zhaofeng surrounded, none of them had a casual expression. Amongst them, True Lord Tiexiao's sharp fan was only a foot away from Zhaofeng's back. In everyone else's eyes, all True Lord Taishao needed to do was shake his hand and he could cut Zhaofeng in 2. However, true Lord Taishao Yulong and Bai Ji didn't do anything. Zhao Feng, who was in the 8-dragon slaughterer demon array and surrounded by 3 palace lords, had his hands behind his back and seemed extremely relaxed. Zhao Feng, your performance in the sacred true dragon was stunning. You're even one of the overwhelming prodigies. Even I am blinded by your talent and resilience. True Lord Taishao slowly spoke. Hearing this, everyone broke out into discussion. Sacred True Dragon Gathering? The legendary Sacred True Dragon Gathering. From True Lord Tiexiao's tone, did Zhao Feng achieve a good result? For the Broken Moon clan, and even the 13 countries, the Sacred True Dragon Gathering was just a legend. The other 2 palace lords both locked tightly onto Zhao Feng without any signs of relaxing. Zhao Feng, you're young, but you've already obtained such strength and even severely injured the Blood Corpse Palace Lord earlier. One must know that, apart from me, no one else among the 4 palace lords can beat him. I believe that if the division leader knew, he would utilize you wisely. Palace Lord Yulong's deep voice resounded across the central hall. Of the 4 palace lords, Palace Lord Yulong had the highest status and he was the strongest. Palace Lord Yulong had a black horn on his head, and his bloodline aura was enough to make even Zhao Feng's blood gently tremble. Those without bloodlines would panic just by coming close to Palace Lord Yulong, like a sheep facing a wolf. It was the fear of facing the existence of a higher life form. Palace Lord Yulong's words shocked the upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan. This Zhao Feng defeated a palace lord. Even the leader of the 4 palace lords has invited him to join their side. Shock extended across Clan Master Haiyun and the Regulations elders' faces. They couldn't help but sweat coldly as they thought about how they planned to face such a difficult opponent. Everyone's gaze focused on Zhao Feng, including Bei Moi and Lin Tong, who was in the air. If the 3 palace lords can finish off Zhao Feng, my dark heart seed will also be solved. Lin Tong let out a breath. Friend and foe alike awaited the blue-haired youth's response. However, Zhao Feng smiled. His gaze turned from Clan Master Haiyun to Bei Moi before slowly speaking. Brother Bei Moi, good job. The experts of the Iron Dragon Alliance have indeed come to the Broken Moon clan. Clan Master Haiyun, thank you for your teamwork. Without your help, my plan wouldn't have succeeded so easily. A faint laugh sounded across the hill. The instant this was said, I. Bei Moi opened his mouth and seemed as if he had been choked. Teamwork? When did I? Clan Master Haiyun's expression suddenly froze. The only sound remaining was the wind. True Lord Taishao and Palace Lord Bai Ji were puzzled. What? Palace Lord Yulong exclaimed as his expression dimmed. The people present felt something was off, but thinking about it carefully, many understood. Zhao Feng copied, almost word for word, Palace Lord Yulong's words. Bei Moi, good job. Zhao Feng indeed returned to the Broken Moon clan. Clan Master Haiyun, without your help, we wouldn't be able to ambush this brat so easily. The same sentence structure was returned after some slight modifications. Bei Moi and Clan Master Haiyun's expressions were very colorful right now. True Lord Taishao and Palace Lord Bai Ji glanced at the 2 suspiciously, but they were also shocked. Ridiculous. How could Clan Master Haiyun not understand the truth? A strong sense of humiliation appeared in his heart. This Clan Master Haiyun's luck is pretty shit. To be used as bait by both Zhao Feng and the Iron Dragon Alliance. Lin Tong's face was filled with surprise. Zhao Feng hadn't returned to the Broken Moon clan to kill Clan Master Haiyun. At least, killing Clan Master Haiyun wasn't the main goal. Clan Master Haiyun was bait that the Iron Dragon Alliance knew about. Zhao Feng had a high chance of returning to kill him. Zhao Feng was more than willing to use this chance to lure out the experts of the Iron Dragon Alliance. Zhao Feng let the Blood Corpse Palace Lord escape because he could get more out of it. It's more than enough to lure out 3 Palace Lords and 10 core elders. Zhao Feng's smile was warm. Yulong, Taishao, and Bai Ji's hearts all surged with anger. This was the first time they met someone so arrogant. Junior, don't get too cocky. You really think you can fight 3 true Lord ranks by yourself? True Lord Taishao roared and waved his metal fan, which sent out a wave of cold light toward Zhao Feng. Ding pong pong. A deep roar appeared accompanied by a flash of dark gray. Ding. Sparks flew everywhere and True Lord Taishao almost lost control of his fan. Dang dang dang. True Lord Taishao was pushed back more than 10 yards. That's... True Lord Taishao glanced at the gray smoke next to Zhao Feng. Wee woo. 2 large dark silver ghost corpses were revealed from within the gray smoke, releasing an air of death. Just the corpse air from the 2 dark silver ghost corpses almost killed some nearby disciples. True Lord rank. How could he have 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses? The other 2 palace lords were stunned. True Lord Taishao was tricked. The 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses almost made him vomit blood and lose control of his weapon. In terms of cultivation, True Lord Taishao was also at the early stage True Lord rank. The 2 dark silver ghost corpses were the same, but they had a much bigger advantage in terms of physical attributes. Shwa shwa. The 2 True Lord rank dark silver ghost corpses flashed around Zhao Feng. Bam bam bam. In the blink of an eye, the 8 dragon slaughterer demon array around Zhao Feng crumbled. The souls of Clan Master Haiyun and company almost flew away after facing this terrifying aura. No one would have thought that Zhao Feng would have such a hidden card, summoning 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses at once. This amount of power was enough to toy with the Broken Moon clan. No, there wouldn't even be a problem destroying all 13 clans. Zhao Feng actually kept such a card hidden. Bei Moi and Lin Tong seemed to be shocked too much. They were dazed as they watched the 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses protect Zhao Feng. The 3 palace lords forgot to attack. True Lord Taishao, who had once defeated the 13 clans, was pushed back by the 2 ghost corpses and almost injured. Yulong and Bai Ji couldn't accept this reality right away. 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses were enough to turn the tide. This meant that Zhao Feng and the 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses were comparable to 3 True Lord ranks, on par with the 3 palace lords. However, if Zhao Feng had the courage to come here, how could he not have other moves up his sleeve? At this moment in time, everyone from the Broken Moon clan looked toward the blue-haired youth with wariness and respect. It's time to close the net. As the Broken Moon clan was once my clan, I'll end this quickly. Sky Moon Mountain, Central Hall. Zhao Feng was surrounded by several layers. First were the 3 palace lords, then the 8 true spirit realms, then the 64 elites. 10 core elders were also watching intently from the edges of the mountain. The Broken Moon clan seemed like it was under a sky-covering net, and Zhao Feng's figure seemed somewhat lonely. Zhao Feng, you've surprised me with your 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses. No wonder you had the courage to return and fight against the Iron Dragon Alliance. Palace Lord Yulong soon recovered after a moment of shock. At the same time, the 3 palace lords quickly exchanged glances. What seemed easy was actually quite difficult. The combination of the 2 dark silver ghost corpses and Zhao Feng was comparable to 3 True Lord ranks. This meant that the Iron Dragon Alliance didn't have much of an advantage. If Zhao Feng focused on running, the chances of killing him weren't very high. Normally, several True Lord ranks were needed to have a good chance of killing another True Lord rank. This meant that the price and difficulty of slaying 3 True Lord ranks would greatly increase. Zhao Feng, I admit that I've underestimated you. You're very strong and even used me as bait. If you really wanted to kill me, I would probably be dead already. Clan Master Haiyun's eyes flashed as he stood in the center of the array. Zhao Feng smiled but didn't speak. Killing Clan Master Haiyun posed no difficulty for him. The Iron Dragon Alliance was the real big fish. It was laughable. A clan master famed for his calculations had been used as bait by both Zhao Feng and the Iron Dragon Alliance. This was totally humiliating for him. In the clash of these 2 sides, Clan Master Haiyun was just a small figure that could be crushed with one hand. Zhao Feng purposely did this so that Clan Master Haiyun could experience the feeling of being an ant and what it's like to be toyed with. Zhao Feng, your first Master Lord Guanjuan and first Elder, they were both defeated by me. Clan Master Haiyun's voice was extremely weird. Zhao Feng's pupils slightly contracted. What was Clan Master Haiyun doing? However, what Clan Master Haiyun said was true. Clan Master Haiyun used intelligence on top of strength to reach his current position. Back then, Master Haiyun stepped on Lord Guanjuan's disciples and rose to become an elder. After that, he grasped the chance to join the Iron Dragon Alliance and killed the original clan master to gain his current position. Ever since Master Haiyun became the clan master, the Broken Moon clan was growing day by day and was now among the top 5 of the 13 clans. Even someone as powerful as First Elder was defeated by Master Haiyun. One had to admit that Clan Master Haiyun's methods exceeded others. That's right. Both my masters lost to you, but everything changes with me. Zhao Feng didn't argue. Losing meant losing and winning meant winning. No matter what methods he used, Master Haiyun was the victor over the past dozen years. Even Zhao Feng struggled to survive when he first entered the Broken Moon clan because of Master Haiyun's influence. Bring him up. Clan Master Haiyun's eyes became cold as he waved his hand. Shua! 3 figures suddenly appeared on a faraway hill. On the left was a gold-robed middle-aged man, and on the right was a white-faced youth. These two were holding a long white-haired old man. First Elder! Exclamations sounded across the Broken Moon clan. Everyone's gaze turned toward the long white-haired old man. This long white-haired old man was the first elder of the Broken Moon clan. The gold-robed middle-aged man and the white-faced youth were Elder Jiang and Sun Yuanhao, respectively. Zhao Feng, back then, you kicked me out of the Floating Crest trial and made me miss my fortune. Today, I'll let you experience what being threatened feels like. A deadly look flashed past Sun Yuanhao's white face. He had a changeable body and he was a genius taken in as Elder Jiang's disciple. However, he was kicked out of the Floating Crest trial by Zhao Feng in the first stage. Although he was very talented, he was still a bit behind Zhao Feng, Bei Moi, and company. Zhao Feng, I'm certain you're someone who repays others, just like your previous 2 masters. Clan Master Haiyun's face was filled with smugness. Good job. The eyes of the 3 palace lords lit up. If they threatened Zhao Feng's master, although they might not be able to change the tide entirely, it could still affect him. Zhao Feng, I don't want your life. All you need to do is cut off 1 arm or destroy 1 true lord rank ghost corpse to save your master's life. Clan Master Haiyun's face was venomous. He didn't ask Zhao Feng to commit suicide in exchange for First Elder's life, as this was unrealistic and Zhao Feng wasn't retarded. If he died, then First Elder would still die anyway. Therefore, Clan Master Haiyun only asked Zhao Feng to cut off 1 arm or destroy a true lord rank ghost corpse. Although this didn't mean that Zhao Feng would die, it would greatly reduce his battle power. Smart. The 3 palace lords couldn't help but look at Clan Master Haiyun in a new light. However, would Clan Master Haiyun's threat succeed? The chance of success was probably quite high since Clan Master Haiyun didn't ask for Zhao Feng's life. At this point in time, the entire Broken Moon clan was dead silent as they waited for the blue-haired youth's response. Master Haiyun. This is quite entertaining. Zhao Feng wasn't surprised at all, laughing lightly instead. Clan Master Haiyun's heart jumped. Was Zhao Feng so cold and emotionless that he didn't care about First Elder's death? Unfortunately, you were 1 step too slow. The result was decided the second I entered the Broken Moon clan. The mockery on Zhao Feng's face became more pronounced. The result was decided? The hearts of Clan Master Haiyun, the 3 palace lords, and the entire Broken Moon clan shook. Not good. Stop his eye bloodline. Someone get to First Elder. The 3 palace lords seemed to remember something and roared in panic. Plop plop. On the hill, Elder Jiang and Sun Yuanhao both spat out blood and fell to the ground. All Zhao Feng did was casually look toward the 2 with his left eye. So, after receiving orders, the 10 core elders quickly charged toward the First Elder. As long as they got to First Elder, they could at least pose some trouble to Zhao Feng. At the same instant, the 3 palace lords roared and moved to stop Zhao Feng. Eye of Illusion City Maze. Zhao Feng's left eye started to spin and create a mysterious whirlpool that attracted everything. Shwa! Everyone's consciousness swayed. The central hall disappeared and was replaced by an ancient city. In this moment, Everyone in the central hall were like headless chickens trying to find the exit in this city. Illusion Maze City. Based on the Eye of Illusion, it could form a wide-ranging mental energy technique that would create an illusion city maze, stalling everyone within its range. Zhao Feng used this skill back at the Purple Saint Ruins. That time, he had the wood spirit soul essence and created a sample of the illusion city maze. Now, Zhao Feng could immediately copy and paste the illusion technique and didn't need to think to construct it anymore. The amount of energy needed to perform the illusion city maze had decreased by more than half and could easily be used even without the help of the wood spirit soul essence. What's going on? Why are the people in the central hall just walking back and forth? The members of the Broken Moon clan at the edges didn't understand. The illusion city maze enveloped the entire central hall. Only the 3 palace lords were struggling, while the others all had a dazed expression. A while later, Shua, the first to recover, was Palace Lord Yulong. After all, his cultivation was the highest and had reached the late-stage True Lord rank. The second was Palace Lord Baiji. Although her battle power wasn't very strong, she specialized in mental energy skills. Last was True Lord Taishao. Where did Zhao Feng go? The 3 palace lords were extremely surprised. Zhao Feng disappeared. Haha, I'm here. A blue-haired youth was standing shoulder to shoulder with First Elder. The two looked at each other and smiled. Ridiculous. The 3 palace lords felt a raging fire burn in their hearts. They felt as if they got played by Zhao Feng. He only created the illusion city maze to run. The 2 true lord rank ghost corpses haven't moved. Palace Lord Baiji's eyes lit up. The 2 true lord rank ghost corpses were close to her and her strength would increase dramatically if she could control the 2 ghost corpses. I'll kill you first. Zhao Feng's left eye turned into the Eye of Ice and seemed to create a bottomless abyss. Limitless cold spread across Palace Lord Baiji's body. Not good. Palace Lord Baiji's thoughts froze and her actions slowed down. Bam bam shoo. The 2 dark silver ghost corpses were nearby and sliced through Palace Lord Baiji's skin. The terrifying power that could kill anyone under the Origin Core realm just by drawing blood took Palace Lord Baiji to a place from which she couldn't return. Plop! Before the other 2 palace lords could react, Palace Lord Baiji's beautiful figure was ripped into pieces amidst a pool of blood. She was dead. So. Immediately following that, the 2 dark silver ghost corpses charged toward Palace Lord Yulong. Palace Lord Yulong got goosebumps as he guessed that he was next. However, he had still underestimated Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng was fighting on several fronts and wanted to finish this battle as quickly as possible. Eye of Illusion. Zhao Feng's eye bloodlines started to circulate once more. Plop! On the other side, Palace Lord Taishao started to sweat coldly as he fell onto the ground, exhausted. In the central hall, life and death were decided with one thought. Everything came too fast, so fast in fact, the entire Broken Moon clan couldn't react. A couple breaths later, Palace Lord Baiji was dead. True Lord Taishao lost his battle power and lay exhausted on the ground, disbelief written all over his face. Only a few people, such as the 8 true spirit realms and Lin Tong, saw the entire process. Everyone had gaping mouths. The shock they experienced was so big that the experts seemed like they lost their souls. The Iron Dragon Alliance cultivators felt their hearts go cold. In the blink of an eye, one of the 3 palace lords was killed, while another was defeated. Palace Lord Baiji's death was terrible. She had no ability to fight back at all. True Lord Tiexiao's defeat was even worse. 2 years ago, True Lord Taishao had defeated the 13 clans and forced the elders to sign a blood contract with him. It could be said that his strength had been engraved in the hearts of the 13 clans. However, in front of Zhao Feng's lightning-quick attacks, True Lord Taishao didn't have the chance to do anything at all. I lost. How is this possible? True Lord Taishao couldn't believe what was happening. He was even suspicious that he was in a dream. How could someone like him, who stood at the top of the cloud area, be defeated so easily? It wasn't just him. Many others present, such as Clan Master Haiyun, the Regulations Elder, and Lin Tong, also felt as if this was a dream. This isn't real. Clan Master Haiyun's face became twisted as he dug his nails into his skin. forcing himself back to reality. On top of the hill. Is this all real? First Elder felt surreal. With trembling fingers, he reached out toward his disciple. But he didn't dare to actually touch him, fearing that all of this would shatter. Zhao Feng had a warm smile as he stood next to First Elder and controlled the situation. A clash between true Lord ranks will destroy the Broken Moon clan. This is the simplest solution. Zhao Feng nodded his head with his hands behind his back. He didn't participate anymore and had already retreated when the Illusion City maze was created. Through his god's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng had instantly finished off 2 palace lords. At this instant, the 2 dark silver ghost corpses leapt toward the last palace lord. Yulong victory was in sight. Palace Lord Yulong's bones went cold. The death and injury of the other 2 palace lords caught him off guard. He didn't think that the 2 dark silver ghost corpses' poison would be so deadly that even those at the true lord rank couldn't resist it. It was because of this that Palace Lord Baiji was killed instantly. As for True Lord Taishao, his early-stage True Lord rank mental energy wasn't enough to resist Zhao Feng's eye bloodline. One had to know, Zhao Feng's mental energy level was slightly stronger than most normal late-stage True Lord ranks, and his soul even surpassed peak True Lord ranks. Retreat quickly and take away Palace Lord Taishao. Palace Lord Yulong took a deep breath as the black scales on his body started to move. Ding ding pong! The attacks from the 2 dark silver ghost corpses landed on Palace Lord Yulong, creating sparks. However, they weren't able to break through his defense. One had to know, the 2 claws of the corpses had been strengthened by Zhao Feng and were extremely sharp. Furthermore, after leaving the Purple Saint ruins, the 2 dark silver ghost corpses were upgraded while staying in the 10,000 Ghost Pearl. Palace Lord, we're coming. Several core elders hurried over. Their goal was to take away True Lord Taishao while Palace Lord Yulong covered them. In the air, Lin Tong was slightly hesitant, not knowing whether to help Zhao Feng or the Iron Dragon Alliance. His heart suddenly shook as he glanced toward Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng had a smile on his face. Although he didn't do anything, he was still watching over everything. He didn't forget about Lin Tong. Scarlet Demon Moon Eye. Lin Tong gritted his teeth as he circulated his eye bloodline to stop some of the core elders. Although the Iron Dragon Alliance and Scarlet Moon demonic religion were extremely powerful and blotted out the skies, Zhao Feng was the one right in front of him and could kill him with one thought. Meow meow. A silver-gray cat flashed into the central hall. Shoo! An agile silver-striped blood whip wrapped around the exhausted True Lord Taishao. Why isn't Zhao Feng killing me? Although True Lord Taishao had been captured, he didn't panic. In terms of strength, True Lord Taishao was close to Palace Lord Baiji. If Zhao Feng, the little thieving cat, the dark silver ghost corpses, or Lin Tong wanted to kill him, he could do nothing. However, Zhao Feng obviously didn't have any plans to kill him immediately. At this moment in time, everything was within Zhao Feng's control. Palace Lord Yulong was being furiously attacked by the 2 dark silver ghost corpses, and Zhao Feng's eye bloodline was putting pressure on him. The little thieving cat captured True Lord Taishao while Lin Tong was responsible for killing the core elders. The force of the 3 palace lords and 10 core elders had been shattered. The entire Broken Moon clan witnessed this sudden change and were like wooden chickens that couldn't react. What? 3 of the 4 major figures of the Iron Dragon Alliance couldn't defeat him. Clan Master Haiyun's face was filled with shock. The complete flip of the situation had exceeded his imagination. As expected, all of this was just bait by Zhao Feng. His true aim was to kill the upper echelons of the Iron Dragon Alliance. Bei Moi suppressed the waves in his heart as he analyzed the situation. From the beginning, both he and Clan Master Haiyun were just side characters. Everything up to now had lost its meaning. There was the occasional core elder that tried to rescue True Lord Taishao in the central hall. Phew! A transparent light flashed by and one of the top 3 ranking core elders fell to the ground with a gash in his throat. Meow meow! The little thieving cat returned onto True Lord Taishao's shoulder and put the dark transparent dagger away. With a paw, the little thieving cat dazed True Lord Taishao with a slap. Of the 10 core elders, at least 4 or 5 had been killed by Lin Tong and the little thieving cat. The remaining core elders tried to escape or leave with Palace Lord Yulong. This Palace Lord Yulong's strength is extremely high. He's even more powerful than the Blood Corpse Protector. He's close to Yi Yenyu's level. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye scanned the battlefield. 2 dark silver ghost corpses would most likely not be able to break through Palace Lord Yulong's defense. Palace Lord Yulong's cultivation had reached the late-stage True Lord rank, and his bloodline increased his power and defense by a substantial amount. If it was a head-on clash, Zhao Feng and the 2 dark silver ghost corpses would find it hard to defeat Palace Lord Yulong. Zhao Feng even found that Palace Lord Yulong was conserving a bit of strength in case he was attacked by an eye bloodline attack. Looks like it's going to be pretty difficult to kill this Palace Lord Yulong. Zhao Feng didn't get close to him as he didn't have an advantage in close combat, especially when he hadn't even reached the True Lord rank yet. On the other hand, the 2 dark silver ghost corpses had tough bodies and were extremely formidable in defense. However, there were 2 other reasons. One was that the internal conflict within the Broken Moon clan hadn't stabilized yet. The second was that an all-out True Lord rank battle would destroy the Broken Moon clan. Wind, lightning, fire, eye. Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly turned azure. Whoosh! A half-transparent flame along with wind and lightning appeared on Palace Lord Yulong's body and exploded in the physical and the mental energy dimension. Palace Lord Yulong's figure shook and he growled deeply as the flame, wind, and lightning burned his soul. Dark demon dragon scale body. Palace Lord Yulong roared and his voice sounded as if it came from hell. In that instant, a dark scale merged with his black scaly armor, which caused his aura to surge like a demonic dragon appearing. Boom! Palace Lord Yulong waved his arms and sent the 2 dark silver ghost corpses flying. It was hard to imagine how strong he currently was. Zhao Feng's pupils contracted. Ever since Palace Lord Yulong circulated his bloodline, all aspects other than his offense were comparable to Yi Yenyu, or even higher. On top of that, Palace Lord Yulong's black horn flashed with a dark purple lightning, which had a strong resistance toward the lightning element of the wind lightning fire eye. It even had the ability to absorb a bit of it. What a powerful bloodline! Yulong is indeed worthy of being the head of the 4 palace lords. Zhao Feng's expression became more solemn. Even if the Blood Corpse Protector by Ji and Taishao teamed up, they might not be as great of a threat as Palace Lord Yulong. Zhao Feng's most powerful attack, the Wind Lightning Fire Eye, didn't manage to affect Palace Lord Yulong much. After all, I haven't reached the True Lord rank yet and have limited comprehension of the Wind Lightning Stone Tablet. The Wind Lightning True Fire in my body still has the potential to grow in strength. Zhao Feng's thoughts spun. This was the most troublesome opponent he had met after returning to the cloud area. Of course, Zhao Feng still had the chance to kill Yulong if things dragged on long enough. Since Palace Lord Yulong increased his strength with the help of his bloodline, the amount of time it could last was limited. On top of that, Zhao Feng had 2 True Lord rank ghost corpses that couldn't get tired and could last for a long time. However, there was still trouble in Broken Moon Clan, which meant that Zhao Feng had to continue no matter what. With my bloodline power, I have an 80 to 90% chance of escaping. I even have a chance of injuring Zhao Feng. Palace Lord Yulong's eyes were cold. He obviously knew that, in a head-on fight, Zhao Feng might not be able to block him. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng exchanged a momentary glance with Palace Lord Yulong. A smile of mockery appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Eye of Ice Soul. Zhao Feng's left eye turned into an ice blue light that sent a bone-chillingly cold intent into Palace Lord Yulong's soul. Palace Lord Yulong's thoughts and actions became abnormally slow. Shoo shoo bam bam bam. The attacks of the 2 dark silver ghost corpses became more fierce. However, this was Palace Lord Yulong, who had a powerful bloodline and body. If it were another True Lord rank, they'd find it hard to resist. This fucking eye bloodline can switch multiple times in battle. Palace Lord Yulong's thought of killing Zhao Feng was instantly broken. Right at this moment, Zhao Feng's left eye turned azure. A piercing glint of azure light created a blade in his eye. Palace Lord Yulong's entire body went cold. Before this sensation disappeared, he felt a piercing intent slash through his body. He instinctively glanced toward the youth on the hill. In that instant, The youth's hair turned azure and an azure glint flashed within his eye. Shoo! A screeching sound appeared in the air, and when Palace Lord Yulong heard this noise, pain surged from his leg. Shwa! A half-transparent azure blade had cut open the dark scales on the surface of Palace Lord Yulong's body. What? He broke through both my dark demon dragon scale body and my dark striped demonic cloak. Palace Lord Yulong's expression changed dramatically. The two dark silver ghost corpses had been attacking him for a long time without being able to break through his defense. From this, one could see how strong his defense was. In terms of defense, Palace Lord Yulong was definitely one of strongest among those under the Origin Core realm and was almost unbeatable. However, this sharp azure blade was created with bloodline power and shot from the eye. It was extremely quick and surpassed normal physical attacks. Such an attack wasn't fully physical or fully soul-based, so it could ignore some defense. It was like how Zhao Feng's mental energy illusion could ignore normal defenses. Although this azure blade leaned more toward a physical attack and couldn't fully ignore defense, it could still do a lot of damage. This eye technique is kind of similar to Tuoba Chi's heavenly piercing eye. Bei Moi, who was in the central hall, paused. After all, he participated in the sacred True Dragon gathering and had seen Tuoba Chi's heavenly piercing eye. However, the power from Zhao Feng's sharp azure blade had exceeded Tuoba Chi's heavenly piercing eye. Yet his opponent this time was also very powerful. Zhao Feng's attack was purposely aimed toward Palace Lord Yulong's weakest point in order to deal double damage. Furthermore, this move could ignore defense to a certain degree. However, even with all of this, Palace Lord Yulong's defense was barely broken, leaving only a small gash on his leg. Luckily, Zhao Feng hadn't planned to use this method to kill or maim Palace Lord Yulong. This is the chance. Zhao Feng's expression grew serious as he controlled the two dark silver ghost corpses with his god's spiritual eye to target Palace Lord Yulong's leg. Crack! One of the dark silver ghost corpses forcefully received a punch and a kick from Palace Lord Yulong head-on, and a crack appeared on its body. However, this ghost corpse didn't feel any pain and still held onto Palace Lord Yulong. Shoo. The other dark silver ghost corpse used this chance to continuously attack and claw toward Palace Lord Yulong's injured leg. The injury on his leg hadn't fully healed yet and was ripped open once more. With Zhao Feng's control, the two ghost corpses' teamwork was perfect. See? Not good. Palace Lord Yulong roared in a raspy voice with uneasiness and fear. The instant his skin was broken open by the dark silver ghost corpse, an indescribably terrifying poison started to travel across his body and wipe out all life. In just a breath, Palace Lord Yulong's face went purple and his bloodline power became void of energy. He had a strong resistance toward poison with his unique bloodline, which was biased more toward the Yin element, and yet he was still poisoned. If it were true Lord Taishao or Palace Lord Baiji, they would be dead already. At this moment in time, Palace Lord Yulong finally understood why Palace Lord Baiji died so quickly. The poison contained within these two dark silver ghost corpses was enough to critically threaten those at the True Lord rank. Most True Lords wouldn't have the ability to fight back at all. Arg! In this dangerous situation, Palace Lord Yulong started to burn his chi of true spirit to counter the poison, but his struggle wasn't enough. The dark silver ghost corpse's poison contained not only venom from the ancient scorpion, it also contained the earth-ean poison mushroom. It was a nightmarish existence for life. Crack! Palace Lord Yulong gave a soul-shaking howl as he gritted his teeth and chopped his leg off. When his leg was removed from his body, over 70% of the poison was gone. After doing this, Palace Lord Yulong managed to save his life, but his face was purple and his aura was weak. Choso, Palace Lord Yulong didn't dare to stay any longer. He used his remaining bloodline, as well as the burning of his chi of true spirit, to speed off through the sky. Sky Moon Mountain. The entire Broken Moon clan witnessed Palace Lord Yulong chopping off his own leg as well as his defeat. The entire scene made their hearts go cold. Even Boss Yulong lost. True Lord Taishao, who had been captured, went pale white and felt helpless. Of the four palace lords, Palace Lord Yulong's cultivation was the highest and his bloodline was the strongest. He was the strongest person across the cloud area. It was hard to imagine that the number one figure of the Iron Dragon Alliance had been forced to cut off his own leg to save his life. On the hill, he managed to escape. Zhao Feng looked with surprise toward the direction Palace Lord Yulong fled. It was surprising mainly due to the fact that Palace Lord Yulong's bloodline was more powerful than he imagined, and it was even somewhat similar to the ancient demonic dragons. Zhao Feng had the heart to chase after him, but he couldn't do so. After this battle, a wave of fatigue came over his left eye. Palace Lord Yulong's cultivation had reached the late-stage True Lord rank. If he only focused on escaping, Zhao Feng would be helpless to do anything. When Zhao Feng circulated his qi of true spirit, he suddenly felt something. Zhao Feng found that his qi of true spirit hummed with lightning and wind. It gave off a chaotic pressure and aura, as well as a bloating sensation. His cultivation had reached the breaking point to the True Lord rank. This meant that he could break through to the True Lord rank whenever he wanted without much resistance. Due to this breaking point, Zhao Feng had to give up the idea of chasing Palace Lord Yulong. However, Palace Lord Yulong was a powerful opponent that Zhao Feng wouldn't let escape so easily. Zhao Feng took a light breath as he opened his god's spiritual eye and turned it into the water state. A mysterious ripple appeared in his left eye and finally condensed a dark blue that flashed forward with a wave of mental energy. At the same time, Palace Lord Yulong, who managed to flee 1,000 miles, suddenly felt uneasy. What was that feeling just now? Palace Lord Yulong felt for an instant that something had stuck onto him. But as he was poisoned and missing a leg, this feeling was ignored. 1,000 miles back at the Broken Moon clan. I'll let you go this time, but my god's spiritual eye has left a god eye mark on you that's extremely stealthy and hard to destroy. A cold intent appeared on Zhao Feng's face. A god eye mark was a mental energy tracker, which was something even some true human ranks could perform. However, Zhao Feng's god eye mark was created with the basis of the Tao of the soul and had merged with a high level of bloodline from the god's spiritual eye. The god eye mark would be branded onto a specific target and it was extremely hard to find and get rid of. Unless the opponent's cultivation was higher than Zhao Feng, or their Tao of the soul or mental energy techniques surpassed Zhao Feng, this mark wouldn't be wiped out for a while. Once the god eye mark was complete, Zhao Feng could roughly estimate the target's location, even if they were very far away. After completing all this, Zhao Feng's eyes turned back toward the Broken Moon clan. Master Haiyun, the Regulations Elder, and a couple others all tried to run when Zhao Feng was attacking Palace Lord Yulong. But Lin Tong and the little thieving cat wouldn't let that happen. Meow meow. Shwa shwa. The little thieving cat's figure flashed through the air. Every time this happened, it would wave its paws and the sound of being slapped would appear. Central Hall. Ah! Burning paw marks were left on Clan Master Haiyun and company's faces. Although the little thieving cat didn't specialize in power, its paw attacks contained a mysterious stunning effect. Any normal true spirit realm that was hit by the little thieving cat would feel the sky spin for a while. Hee. Everyone's playing very well. A light laugh came from the hill. At this point in time, Zhao Feng's battle with the 3 palace lords was over. Of the 3 palace lords, one was dead while another had been captured. Only one managed to barely escape. As soon as Zhao Feng spoke, the Broken Moon clan fell into dead silence. Master Haiyun and company's figures froze. Everyone's gaze turned toward the smiling blue-haired youth with shock and respect. This youth had stood far away during the battle and never participated in close combat. Shwa shwa. 2 dark silver ghost corpses started to kill those that tried to escape, including those from the Iron Dragon Alliance. These dark silver ghost corpses contained poison that was unparalleled under the Origin Core realm, and every flash of their claws would take a life. The core elders that ruled their own places were instantly killed by the dark silver ghost corpses. Everything was in Zhao Feng's control. Clan Master Haiyun and the Regulations Elder had expressions of defeat. 1 or 2 of the upper echelons even kneeled in fear and pissed their pants. Under Zhao Feng's gaze, the entire Broken Moon clan was obedient. Clan Master Haiyun, the Regulations Elder, and the spawn of the Iron Dragon Alliance were all filled with fear, helplessness, and despair. Just half the time it took to make tea earlier, who would have thought that this youth would be able to control the current situation by himself? 3 palace lords of the Iron Dragon Alliance, legendary figures that stood at the top of the cloud area, had been killed, captured, or injured by this youth. 10 core elders came but didn't return. In such a short amount of time, this youth made everyone respect him like a god. All of this seemed like a work of fiction, but the people here had all witnessed it. Halfway up the hill, the group led by Yang Gon had just entered the gates, but before they could even report the completion of the first of the 49 missions, the situation within the Broken Moon clan changed. Actually, not only had the Broken Moon clan changed, probably the entire 13 countries, or even the entire cloud area would have drastic changes. Yang Gon, Lin Fan, Ran Xiaoyuan, Yang Qingshan, and company felt like this was all just a dream. In the time it took for a short nap, the era of Clan Master Haiyun had come to an end. Brother Zhao is way too strong. Unbelievable. He beat the 3 palace lords. Haha. Finally. We can finally leave this prison. I can't believe that bastard Haiyun would have such a day. We almost blamed Brother Zhao unjustly. While joy filled the hearts of these disciples, there was also guilt. Cheers started to build up across the Broken Moon clan, mainly from the lower-class disciples. A few of the upper echelons, such as Old Zhang and Old Guang, felt proud of old times. First Elder, you can die without regrets with such a good disciple. Elder Luiyue smiled and said with slight envy. On the hill, First Elder looked at his nearby disciple before taking a deep breath and patting Zhao Feng's shoulder. Fenger, I imagined that you would come back to the Broken Moon clan one day, but I didn't expect it to be so fast. First Elder couldn't help but sigh. The two had a lot to talk about and it would take some time. First Elder was very curious about Zhao Feng's journey to the Canopy Great Country, but he didn't ask right away. He obviously knew that there were still a lot of problems awaiting Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng and First Elder soon descended into the central hall, and First Elder's smile became bigger as he looked at Clan Master Haiyun. Clan Master Haiyun's face was red and full of hatred. His eyes were still twinkling, giving the impression that he still had a plan. Zhao Feng didn't really care about Master Haiyun. As of right now, the two seemed to have swapped statuses. In Zhao Feng's eyes, Clan Master Haiyun was no different from an ant that could be killed with a flick of his fingers. True Lord Taishao. Zhao Feng's gaze landed on True Lord Taishao, whom the little thieving cat had captured. Even now, the name True Lord Taishao shook the hearts of the Broken Moon clan upper echelons. How magnificent and powerful did True Lord Taishao seem back then? Zhao Feng, I know what you want. You want my blood contract with the 12 clans from back then. True Lord Tiexiao's expression was calm. After all, he was a true lord rank that stood among the peak of the cloud area. He had soon calmed down and found the reason why he was still alive. Why didn't Zhao Feng kill him? True Lord Taishao wasn't doubtful that Zhao Feng had the ability to do so, giving him the same outcome as Palace Lord Baiji. This meant that he had something valuable on him and, with some slight thinking, he came up with the answer. The blood contract. Back then, the elders of the 12 clans had signed a blood contract under his threats. Blood contracts were a power that belonged to the heaven and earth. They had a restrictive power that made the elders of the 12 clans unable to betray the Iron Dragon Alliance. This restrictive power was so strong that even First Elder and company wouldn't be able to help Zhao Feng if he returned. True Lord Taishao, you're very smart. Where's the blood contract? Zhao Feng nodded his head with praise. He didn't like to beat around the bush. If True Lord Taishao cooperated well, he would consider leaving him with his life. The blood contract has been put in a secure and secret location. You have to promise not to kill or harm me. Then I'll give the blood contract to you later. True Lord Taishao said solemnly. Hehe, really? How do I know that you won't trick me? Zhao Feng half believed and half doubted as he gave a glance toward the little thieving cat. Meow meow. The little thieving cat's figure disappeared. True Lord Taishao was puzzled. He didn't say anything, but his expression changed dramatically as he looked inside his interspatial ring. Shwa! Meow meow! The little thieving cat appeared again, but this time, he was holding an ancient scroll that had a line of blood on it. How is this possible? True Lord Tai Xiao finally started to panic and couldn't believe what was happening. The blood contract had been hidden in a concealed corner. How could the little thieving cat find it so easily? Zhao Feng smiled and opened the blood contract before nodding his head. This blood contract contained the deal between the 12 clans and the Iron Dragon Alliance. It wasn't weird for True Lord Tai Xiao to carry the blood contract around with him. After all, he was one of the 4 major figures of the Iron Dragon Alliance, and the 13 countries weren't very important in the Cloud area. According to the records, blood contracts are made by the Heaven's Legacy race, and these scrolls are now extremely rare, especially blank ones. Zhao Feng gently touched the blood contract. Whoosh! An arc of lightning sparked across his fingers, turning the blood contract into ashes. First Elder and the others of the Broken Moon clan revealed a joyful expression. If the blood contract was destroyed, then the power of heaven and earth wouldn't restrict them anymore. On the contrary, True Lord Tiexiao's face was gray, and cold sweat formed across his forehead. The only thing he was valuable for had turned to nothing. You have 10 breaths before I kill you. Zhao Feng was getting ready to kill True Lord Taixiao when he suddenly remembered to squeeze out his last remaining value. 10 breaths? True Lord Tiexiao's heart went cold and his breathing rate quickened. He had clearly seen the flash of killing intent pass in Zhao Feng's eyes, and he was certain that Zhao Feng would kill him without hesitation. His instincts were correct. The number of True Lord ranks that died in the Purple Saint ruins due to Zhao Feng wasn't low. 10, 9, 8, 7. The entire Broken Moon clan gaped at Zhao Feng deciding the life or death of a True Lord rank. True Lord Tiexiao's thoughts spun before he gritted his teeth. Wait! Remember, you only have one chance. Zhao Feng smiled. True Lord Taixiao took a deep breath before taking out a blank blood contract from his interspatial ring. Great, you succeeded. Zhao Feng's eyes lit up. True Lord Taixiao wasn't surprised. No one could resist controlling another True Lord rank, even if they had the ability to kill True Lord ranks with ease. A while later, Zhao Feng signed the blank blood contract with True Lord Taixiao. Both sides had to be willing for the blood contract to take effect. The contents of the contract were as such. True Lord Taixiao was to be the protector of the Broken Moon clan and couldn't betray it, etc., while Zhao Feng had to promise not to purposely harm True Lord Taixiao and even support the latter if needed. After this blood contract was completed, Zhao Feng put it away. True Lord Tiexiao's heart was heavy. The chances of taking the blood contract back from Zhao Feng was very low. As time passed, the chances would become infinitely close to zero. Zhao Feng was a prodigy that ruled across dozens of generations. His future couldn't be estimated. When True Lord Taixiao signed the blood contract, Clan Master Haiyun and company's hearts dropped. Zhao Feng, we can also sign a blood contract and be eternally loyal to you. The regulations elder chattered. Shwa! Zhao Feng swiped his hand and a blade of wind and lightning chopped the regulations elder in two. You're not worthy enough. A calm voice sounded across the central hall. Clan Master Haiyun and company trembled with fear, and a couple even pissed their pants. Zhao Feng's eyes turned toward a figure that was silent. Brother Bei Moi, you can decide what you want to do with me, whether it be killing me or torturing me. Bei Moi's face was bitter. Brother Bei Moi, you know that I won't kill you now, even though you betrayed Master back then. Zhao Feng said. Bei Moi's face froze. He had guessed that he might get to live due to the fact that he and Zhao Feng both once served the same master. Of course, there's a requirement. Zhao Feng's words twisted. What requirement? Bei Moi let out a breath. I want you to kill Haiyun and take his head to Lord Guanjuan and ask for his forgiveness. Zhao Feng spoke slowly. Zhao Feng, don't be ridiculous. Clan Master Haiyun roared in hatred. Pa! He was about to go crazy, but he was quickly dazed by a cat paw. Those from the Broken Moon clan couldn't help but be puzzled. Why did Zhao Feng want Bei Moi to kill Haiyun instead of doing it himself? However, those who knew more information guessed the reason. Firstly, Bei Moi was Clan Master Haiyun's most talented disciple, and it was a humiliation to die by the hand of his most hopeful disciple. Secondly, this also regarded the enmity between Clan Master Haiyun and Lord Guanjuan. Haiyun once stole the woman that Lord Guanjuan loved and humiliated him. Later on, he even took away Bei Moi. Now, Zhao Feng's requirement was for Bei Moi to kill Haiyun with his own hands and bring the head to Lord Guanjuan. This would solve everything. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Fine, I accept. Bei Moi took out a sword without hesitation and cut off Clan Master Haiyun's head with a flash. In terms of cultivation and strength, there wasn't much of a difference between the two. However, Clan Master Haiyun had been stunned by the little thieving cat and was still dazed. Before he could react in time, his head had parted with his body. Bei Moi was so quick and decisive that it seemed like he didn't even think about it. Bei Moi's decision between killing his master and saving his own life was extremely decisive. There were no signs of hesitation. Master Haiyun couldn't even believe what happened. His eyeballs bulged out as he died. He killed his master just like that? This Bei Moi is so cold-blooded. Humph. This isn't the first time he's betrayed someone. He's a very greedy person. The entire Broken Moon clan discussed Bei Moi's actions in low tones, mostly with disdain. Zhao Feng couldn't help but ponder. Everyone saw Bei Moi kill Haiyun and silently put his head into a bag. Brother Zhao, Bei Moi's a natural traitor. If we let him go so easily, he'll probably... Some familiar disciples and the elder generation were worried. Let him go. Zhao Feng didn't say anything more. First Elder smiled faintly and gave the orders to let Bei Moi leave. Before Zhao Feng went to the Canopy Great Country, First Elder made a lot of preparations for Zhao Feng, including his parents, Lord Guanjuan, and company. This was the prerequisite for Zhao Feng to leave. Zhao Feng was really grateful for First Elder's care. At this time, Zhao Feng felt sour and guilty when he looked at First Elder's missing arm. Master lost an arm. When I get back to the Canopy Great Country, I'll craft a simplified version of the Wheel of Light and Darkness with Master Taigon. Zhao Feng decided. The blueprint of the Wheel of Light and Darkness came from the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, and it could change between the three forms of an arm, a shield, and a wheel. It was very suitable for First Elder, who had lost an arm. Next, there were still other matters that needed to be solved in the Broken Moon clan. Clan Master Haiyun and the Regulations Elder were already dead, but there were still many people that were once friends with Clan Master Haiyun, as well as subordinates and spies of the Iron Dragon Alliance. These tedious matters were given to First Elder, Granny Luiyue, Yanggon, and company to take care of. On the same day, the Broken Moon clan underwent a small purge. Nearly 100 people across the entire Broken Moon clan, from elders to disciples, were killed. This was already First Elder being kind, as over half of the clan belonged to Clan Master Haiyun's side. It had to be admitted that, over the past 2 years, the Broken Moon clan had expanded under Clan Master Haiyun's control and could be ranked within the top 5 of the 13 clans. Fenger, now that Haiyun is dead, the Broken Moon clan needs a new clan master. Who do you think is a good candidate? First Elder asked. Zhao Feng thought about it and had a candidate. It was Brother Yanggon. Yanggon had good social ties and was once the head disciple. His talent and strength weren't too bad. Now that Yanggon had returned from the sacred True Dragon gathering, his cultivation had reached the half-step True Spirit realm. It would only be a matter of time before he reached the True Spirit realm. Yanggon is indeed a good candidate, but his cultivation and experience are lacking. First Elder also agreed. He was sure that Zhao Feng had no intentions of being the clan master. No place in the cloud area could hold a big fish like him. I have a couple of resources and spiritual pills from the geniuses of the outside world. It's enough to create a couple true spirit realms. Master can decide what to do with them. Zhao Feng took out some resources of the outside world and gave them to First Elder. Although these resources were extremely rare in the Azure Flower continent, they weren't much for a 2-star sect. Any disciple from a 2-star sect was at least at the True Mystic rank or True Lord rank. From this, one could see just how many resources they had. 3 days later, the entire Broken Moon clan regained its calm, and everyone resumed their normal schedules. Zhao Feng entered seclusion and prepared to break through to the True Lord rank. Breaking through to the True Lord rank won't increase my strength by leaps and bounds, but it can strengthen my foundation and attributes. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and started to slowly circulate the qi of true spirit within his body. As of right now, Zhao Feng's mental energy level was around the late-stage True Lord rank level, and the power of his soul was magnificent. Probably only someone at the origin core realm could surpass him. This was all due to the wood spirit essence soul. With such a powerful soul and mental energy level, it was hard for Zhao Feng not to rise in cultivation quickly. Once one's mental energy level rose, their cultivation speed would also increase and they could break through smoothly. In a single hall in the Sky Moon Mountain, Zhao Feng sat on the ground with closed eyes. Lightning sparked across the surface of his qi of true spirit with a chaotic aura. Once I reach the True Lord rank, my source of true spirit will expand. Before this, I need to comprehend and merge more intense from the Wind Lightning Stone Tablet, as the change in strength before and after my breakthrough will be greater. Zhao Feng didn't immediately focus on breaking through. Only half a day would be needed if he wanted to break through. He could even try right now. However, Zhao Feng wanted to use this chance to expand his source of true spirit and merge in the elements of wind and lightning. Zhao Feng's consciousness soon merged into the tattered world of wind and lightning. Wang Hu. Most of the dimension was dark, and the place was filled with destructive lightning and powerful winds. Furthermore, the colors and attributes of these winds and lightning were different. For example, the wind in front of Zhao Feng was either colorless, azure, purple, or even gold. There was also a large number of lightning colors: transparent, azure, purple, scarlet, gold, dark gold. Zhao Feng started to understand. The aura of the transparent color was the weakest. It was suitable for those under the true spirit realm to comprehend. The azure color level was Zhao Feng's current level, and the next step was the purple-colored winds and lightning. The intent of the purple-colored winds and lightning had reached the origin core realm, and those at the True Lord rank could manage to try and comprehend it. I'll first condense it into pure dark azure. Then I'll try to turn it into purple. Zhao Feng had a rough plan of what he was going to do. He estimated that, if he could manage to fully comprehend the purple-colored level of wind and lightning, he should be able to roam freely across the continent. After that, if he was able to comprehend the scarlet color level, he should be unparalleled within the continent, and he would be considered an expert even in the outside world. As for the highest level of gold and dark gold, it was the level only reached by the Wind Lightning Emperor. In the blink of an eye, half a month had passed. Zhao Feng's consciousness merged into the Wind Lightning Stone Tablet and he focused on cultivating. Over the past few days, the air above the hall had howled with wind and lightning. The area was filled with dark clouds and storms that pushed back any true human rank within a 1-mile radius. That Zhao Feng hasn't even reached the True Lord rank yet, and his true mental energy level has already surpassed normal True Lords. True Lord Taishao, who now guarded the clan, was filled with solemnness. He became more wary and respectful of Zhao Feng. However, he was puzzled. With Zhao Feng's mental energy level, why hadn't he broken through to the True Lord rank yet? Indeed, Zhao Feng's situation was somewhat unique. In the Purple Saint Ruins, he had to face enemies from all sides. Then his left eye underwent a change after he returned to the cloud area. Now that his god spiritual eye had stabilized, he could focus on cultivating. However, the preparations he needed to make beforehand were very complex. Zhao Feng first wanted to change the element of his source of true spirit. The main element in his source of true spirit was currently lightning, but after comprehending the Wind Lightning Stone Tablet, wind started to merge into his skills as well. What's Zhao Feng waiting for? He should be able to break through to the True Lord rank in a day or two. True Lord Taishao inspected the change in the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi above the Sky Moon Mountain. The wind and lightning Yuan Qi in the air was very uneasy. On the 20th day, a whirlpool of wind and lightning formed above the hall Zhao Feng was at. and it contained a powerful aura of the True Lord rank. The power has already surpassed the early-stage True Lord rank, and he still hasn't even broken through yet. True Lord Taishao clicked his tongue. He found that the intent of wind and lightning in the air was becoming more unfathomable and immeasurable. The inheritance that Zhao Feng chose had once belonged to an emperor whose speed was unparalleled. It wasn't something the Azure Flower Continent inheritances could be compared to. At the same time, while Zhao Feng was in seclusion, the Broken Moon clan, and even the 13 clans were changing. The change in the Broken Moon clan caused the entire Cloud Country to change. On the 5th day of Zhao Feng's seclusion, members of the Dragon-Killing Alliance came. The news of Zhao Feng returning to the Cloud Country had spread across the 13 countries, and it even spread to the 2 strong countries. 3 palace lords of the Iron Dragon Alliance had been defeated by a junior. This news was like a hurricane that swept across the cloud area. The name of Zhao Feng shocked the 13 clans once again, and he was respected by both the young and old generations. Because of Zhao Feng's existence, the Cloud Country and the 13 countries became the stronghold of the Dragon-Killing Alliance. The forces of the Dragon-Killing Alliance quickly gathered in the 13 countries, and their forces even increased. Back then, the Iron Dragon Alliance decided the lives of everyone. No one dared to fight back. However, it was different now. The news and rumors of Zhao Feng defeating 4 palace lords alone caused many forces to join the Dragon-Killing Alliance. At this point in time, the Broken Moon clan became the core of the Dragon-Killing Alliance. Although Zhao Feng was in seclusion and didn't know what was happening in the outside world, he had become the spiritual leader of the resistance against the Iron Dragon Alliance. In this period of time, many experts from thousands of miles away came to visit Zhao Feng, but they were declined by the Broken Moon clan. On this day, another shocking piece of news came from the 13 countries. The number 1 clan of the 13 clans, the Cloud Sword clan, had changed rulers. After Zhao Feng, another stunning genius, a genius in the Tao of the Sword, had returned to the cloud area. Cloud Sword clan. In the clouds, there was a multitude of buildings that jutted out like swords piercing the sky. Amongst them, one of the buildings stood out. It gave off a piercing intent and seemed to be the ruler. At this moment, this sacred area, the Sword Pavilion, was overflowing with blood. In front of the Sword Pavilion, Arg! A true spirit realm elder screamed as his sword fell onto the blood-stained ground. There were 4 or 5 true spirit realm experts there with him that had been slain in one slash. Apart from them, there were more than 100 elites that had been killed. Those within the Sword Pavilion were frozen. Everyone looked in fear toward a plain-robed female. This plain-robed female seemed to radiate an invisible intent that pierced through everything nearby. This scene was extremely similar to the number 1 sword genius from back then. The one who had crushed every genius of the 13 clans under her feet. Song Yuyue, no matter how many more people you kill, you can't turn the tide of the cloud area. Going against the Iron Dragon Alliance with your strength is suicide. A green-armored male puffed with a savage expression. Streaks of sword wounds had pierced through his spiritual-grade armor. This armored male's cultivation had reached the late-stage true mystic rank, the same as Song Yuyue. However, in the fight just now, the armored male and several true spirit realms had teamed up and still couldn't defeat the plain-robed female. Song Yuyue's way too terrifying. More than 100 elites have been killed by her. Everyone that's opposed her is dead. The cultivators at the Sword Pavilion didn't even dare to take a deep breath. Humph, you don't need to tell me. I shall go to the headquarters of the Iron Dragon Alliance later. Song Yuyue said coldly. After the Sacred True Dragon Gathering and the Inheritance, Song Yuyue's Tao of the Sword had become sharper, and her path of killing was 100 times stronger than before. Song Yuyue still felt lucky when she remembered the encounters she had in the 7 Sword Inheritance with the other geniuses. If one wasn't strong or decisive enough, they would have been killed in the 7 Sword Inheritance. The reason she could return from the 7 Sword Inheritance was due to the fact that she had already nurtured the potential of sword intent, and she was extremely lucky. Ha ha ha, are you not scared the wind will cut off your tongue? Bitch, one day I will fuck dash. The armored man roared loudly. Song Yuyue's sword suddenly shot out, causing a piercing screech. Run. The armored male's expression changed. and a green flame appeared on his body as he reached a terrifying speed. The skill he cultivated contained the element of wind and had reached the extreme. In terms of speed, he was even comparable to normal True Lord ranks. This was why he could keep standing up to now. Die! Song Yue's sword vanished. Jiang! However, a tattered green bronze sword appeared. It gave off a cold and ancient aura, and it seemed to be immortal and supreme. A chilling sword intent locked onto the armored male through both the physical and the mental energy dimensions. Shua! Song Yue shook her hand and a cold beam as thin as a spiderweb extended through the air. It seemed extremely slow, but it actually happened in an instant. Plop! The armored man fell from the sky with a bloody gash that split his body in half. Sword Pavilion. The entire clan couldn't help but take a deep breath as they looked at the legendary female that had returned from the sacred True Dragon gathering. Shua! A woman dressed in white suddenly appeared in front of Song Yue. Elder Bai. Song Yue bowed with respect. This woman's aura was on par with the deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. Song Yue had not returned alone. Yue, your strength has stunned us. Although you're only at the late-stage True Mystic rank, your attacks can already threaten those at the True Lord rank. Elder Bai praised and gave a high review. Cultivators of the sword specialized in offense, and Song Yue was someone who had comprehended sword intent in addition to receiving the 7-sword inheritance. Unfortunately, there's still a distance between Yu Tianhao, Zhao Feng, Xian Wuheng, and company. Song Yue didn't have any arrogance on her face. Although her strength and talent were very high and she was the #1 genius of the 10,000 Sword Clan, there was still an obvious gap between her and the overwhelming prodigies. You don't need to praise others. With your talent and comprehension level, you aren't far behind. If you started from the same starting line, you might be comparable to those overwhelming prodigies. Elder Bai smiled and supported. Song Yue nodded her head, confident in her improvements. However, the main reason she returned to the Cloud area was to save her clan. In just an instant, the Cloud Sword Clan's destiny had been changed by Song Yue. What's the current situation of the 13 clans? I heard that Zhao Feng is back. Song Yue questioned. After a while of listening, her expression started to become solemn. Everyone found that she was very curious about Zhao Feng. Some from the Cloud Sword Clan knew that Song Yue had lost to Zhao Feng back then. Now that she had returned to the Cloud area, maybe she would challenge him to reclaim the title of #1. Defeated 3 True Lord ranks by himself? Zhao Feng has already become so strong. Song Yue's heart sped up the more she heard. Even Elder Bai was full of surprise. Elder Bai Shang had watched the sacred True Dragon gathering. At that point in time, Zhao Feng was still far away from the True Lord rank. He's indeed worthy of being an overwhelming prodigy. Probably only Yu Tianhao is on the same level in the entire continent. Elder Bai Shang couldn't help but sigh. She had to admit that the 5 overwhelming prodigy strength had reached a stage where they were even stronger than some of the older generation, especially Zhao Feng and Yu Tianhao. However, Zhao Feng had disappeared mysteriously for several months. I'll challenge him before I leave the Cloud area. No matter how strong he is. A powerful surge of sword intent appeared in Song Yue's eyes. As if being pressured by Zhao Feng, Song Yue's sword intent seemed to keep on climbing. Elder Bai Shang nodded her head. Those that trained in the sword needed an unbreakable will in order to keep on improving by battling the heaven and earth. Cloud area 13 countries. In just a month's time, the entire situation had changed. Almost half of the clans had escaped the Iron Dragon Alliance's control, and the beginning of everything was the Broken Moon clan. Zhao Feng had defeated the 3 palace lords and forced True Lord Taishao to surrender. He had also destroyed the blood contract. Before entering seclusion, Zhao Feng had also ordered some experts, with Lin Tong leading them, to help the other 2 moon clans, the Lin Moon clan and the Silver Moon clan. Zhao Yufei had asked Zhao Feng to help the Lin Moon clan back in the Purple Saint Ruins. Broken Moon clan, Lin Moon clan, Silver Moon clan, Cloud Sword clan. All these clans had escaped the Iron Dragon Alliance's control and regained their freedom. In this period, the Dragon Killing Alliance, led by Old Su and the elites of the Sky-Rich country, started to proceed toward the 13 countries. The 13 countries were no longer part of the area controlled by the Iron Dragon Alliance, with the Broken Moon clan acting as the center. Old Su helped the clans regain their freedom, while also cleaning up the Iron Dragon Alliance's forces within the 13 countries. Everything was progressing smoothly. According to their deal, Old Su was responsible for cleaning up and gathering information. On this day at the Broken Moon clan, an aura at the True Lord rank descended onto the Sky Moon Mountain. Who is it? True Lord Taishao, who was guarding the mountain, roared. True Lord Taishao, I hope you're doing well. A white-bearded elder floated to the front of the Broken Moon clan. Old Monster Su, it's you? True Lord Taishao had an ugly expression. Even before the Scarlet Moon demonic religion had entered the cloud area, the strong countries these two belonged to were on opposing sides. I have an important piece of news that needs to be discussed with Zhao Feng. Old Su soon entered the topic with an urgent tone. If a normal expert wanted to see Zhao Feng, it would be almost impossible, but this was Old Su, a true lord rank that was also the leader of the Dragon-Killing Alliance. However, it wasn't going to be easy passing True Lord Taishao. Don't you know that Zhao Feng's in seclusion and won't be seeing anyone? True Lord Taishao's face was cold. This news is very important for the cloud area. Old Su rushed. True Lord Taishao didn't say anything and pointed toward a hall in the mountains. Old Su felt that the heaven-earth yuan qi in that area was extremely sensitive. A ball of wind and lightning occasionally caused thunder to boom and rain to fall. Wang, a deep hum sounded in the air, as if wind and lightning were synced together and a monster was devouring this ball. Half a day later, the ball of wind and lightning started to compress into a whirlpool that created waves of lightning. He's reached the last part? True Lord Taishao inspected closely. Over the past few days, he had been paying attention to Zhao Feng's situation. He's breaking through to the True Lord rank? Old Su had a weird expression. The sky rippled with lightning and wind, and there was a destructive aura that caused the chi of true spirit within Old Su and True Lord Taishao to become heavy and uneasy. Above the hall, the ball of wind and lightning started to condense into a whirlpool, and ripples of lightning could be seen. Wang, the whirlpool of wind and lightning started to spin faster and faster as a soul-shaking howl was unleashed. The yuan qi in the air started to interact with the lightning and wind. The source of this came from Zhao Feng. Half a mile away, the two True Lord ranks looked at each other with shock in their eyes. At this moment in time, a powerful aura of the True Lord rank spread across several miles. Luckily, the place Zhao Feng chose was secluded, but even then, the entire Broken Moon clan felt uneasy. Boom! Dark clouds covered the sky above the Sky Moon Mountain, and the chaotic wind and lightning swept across several miles. Such a display of nature caused the entire Broken Moon clan to feel uneasy. Within the hall, the blue hair of a youth waved in the wind as light occasionally flashed across his face and a beam of wind and lightning connected to the whirlpool above. One with nature, concentration, Xian Wuhing. I didn't think your intents would be so compatible with nature and help me so much with breaking through to the True Lord rank. The youth's eyes were filled with joy. At this instant, Zhao Feng had reached the final step. In reality, he had no bottleneck when reaching the True Lord rank, but the preparation time was longer than he expected. On one hand, Zhao Feng needed to improve his source of true spirit. On the other hand, Zhao Feng's powerful soul had an incredible effect in this process. Xian Wuheng's one with nature, and the wood spirit soul essence gave Zhao Feng something that was unexpected. In his mind, different types of comprehension and intent clashed together like sparks that caused flames. Voila! Boom! The expressions of the two True Lord ranks were solemn as they gazed at the powerful wind and lightning. This disaster was enough to destroy a village, and the elders of the Broken Moon clan even opened the protective array in case this disaster became uncontrollable. Open! A shout came from within the hall. Crack! A beam of wind and lightning with the thickness of a fist instantly shattered the dim sky, while a rain fell and revealed the bright sun. The disciples of the Broken Moon clan felt as if they had entered another world. Just a moment ago, A powerful chaotic aura seemed capable of destroying the Broken Moon clan any instant. Boom! Thunder boomed across the sky and a rainbow appeared. At the same instance, a new True Lord rank aura enveloped several miles. He's broken through? Such a pure aura. This isn't something a beginning stage True Lord rank can be compared to. The two True Lord ranks were stunned. Zhao Feng had stepped past the beginning stage of the True Lord rank and directly into the early stage True Lord rank, saving years of time. Just this point alone made the two True Lord ranks feel battered. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's mental energy was also strengthened slightly. In terms of pure mental energy, he exceeded the late-stage True Lord rank. An arc of lightning flashed through the air and appeared in front of the two True Lord ranks. Immediately following that, a numbing sensation caused Old Su's and True Lord Tiexiao's hearts to shake. The two took a deep breath and looked toward the blue-haired youth with complex emotions. After reaching the True Lord rank, Zhao Feng seemed to become one with the wind and lightning nearby, unable to be seen. Congratulations on Brother Zhao reaching the True Lord rank. Reaching the early stage True Lord rank from the True Mystic rank in one step. You're probably the strongest person in the cloud area. Old Su and True Lord Taishao were joyful, but they sighed at the same time. The sound of flying soon appeared and the upper echelons of the Broken Moon clan, including Clan Master Yang Gon and company, came to give their congratulations. The entire clan was filled with a joyous attitude. The birth of a True Lord rank was enough to change the cloud area's situation. The number of True Lord ranks here was small enough to be counted with one hand, and they were all supreme rulers. For a small force such as the Broken Moon clan, the birth of a True Lord rank was a miracle. Even in the Canopy Great Country, a True Lord rank could have a great impact. Half the time it took to make T later Central Hall Division. Zhao Feng, Old Su, Taishao, First Elder, Yang Gon, and a few of the upper echelons had gathered together. After exiting seclusion, Zhao Feng mostly understood the situation of the 13 countries. Everything was going more smoothly than expected. With the Broken Moon clan as the center, other forces started to escape the Iron Dragon Alliance's control. In addition, Song Yue from the Cloud Sword clan had returned and slain a bunch of people from the Iron Dragon Alliance. Of course, the one that had done the most was still Zhao Feng. He had defeated 3 palace lords and destroyed the blood contract. Zhao Feng's story was a legend. His name and fame had started to spread across the entire cloud area, and in some rumors he was even crowned the strongest in the cloud area. Old Su, what do you have to discuss since you came in such a rush? Zhao Feng's gaze turned toward Old Su. He had felt Old Su's aura while he was in seclusion. The Iron Dragon Alliance's power is spread across every corner of the cloud area. It's not a secret that they are supported by the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. For example, Palace Lord Yulong, the Blood Corpse Palace Lord, and some core elders are all from the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Several days ago, the Dragon Killing Alliance received some bad news. Old Su's voice started to become more solemn. Bad news? The hearts of everyone jumped. In the area next to the 2 strong countries and the 13 countries, there have been appearances of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion and the elites of the Iron Dragon Alliance. Old Su said, Scarlet Moon demonic religion? Was this great power starting to revive? Waves appeared in First Elder, Yang Gon, and company's hearts. It was Zhao Feng who was calm and not as fearful toward the Scarlet Moon demonic religion as before. Old Su, I'll need you to pay close attention to the actions of the Iron Dragon Alliance. I think that the Iron Dragon Alliance won't go down so easily, and they'll soon counterattack. Zhao Feng said confidently. How are you so sure? Old Su was slightly surprised. The alliance had undergone a lot of surveillance to come to such a conclusion. Zhao Feng snickered coldly. Because Palace Lord Yulong is still in the 13 countries. I can pursue him whenever I want and finish off some others as well. The god eye mark Zhao Feng had left on Palace Lord Yulong could still be sensed. Through this mark, Zhao Feng could confirm that Palace Lord Yulong hadn't returned back to the Iron Dragon country yet and was still in the 13 countries. With this trail, Zhao Feng could attack the upper echelons of the Iron Dragon Alliance once more. After that, Old Su and Zhao Feng started to discuss how to clean up the spawn of the Iron Dragon Alliance and Scarlet Moon demonic religion. In this period of time, True Lord Taishao revealed some secrets of the Iron Dragon Alliance and Scarlet Moon demonic religion. An hour later, Zhao Feng walked out of the central hall. He circulated his left eye and could feel that the direction Palace Lord Yulong was in was close to where Old Su had said the spawn of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion had appeared. Now that I've reached the True Lord rank, all I need to do is focus on the Wind Lightning Stone Tablet and the Imperial Spear, which can greatly increase my battle power. At that time, no one under the Origin Core realm will be my match. Zhao Feng's eyes twinkled. The Wind Lightning Stone Tablet was his main source of improvement. As for Palace Lord Yulong, as long as he didn't sense anything when the mark was set, it would be almost impossible to find it afterward. This meant that it was only a matter of time before Zhao Feng went to pursue Palace Lord Yulong. While Zhao Feng was thinking, a screech came from near the Broken Moon clan, and the aura of sword intent seemed to pierce through space. The hearts of the Broken Moon clan disciples froze. How powerful was Zhao Feng's soul? He comprehended the Tao of the soul and was extremely sensitive toward sword intent that could reach the soul dimension. In front of the Broken Moon clan, a cold male was facing a plain-robed female. Scarlet Demon Moon Eye, Demonic Hell Azura. Lin Tong's eyes turned black and formed a bloody demonic moon. Wang, a blood-red demonic moon appeared above Song Yue's head in a half-undetectable manner and released a hellish aura that sent terrifying scenes toward her, creating chaos in her mind. Song Yue's eyebrows furrowed and she felt uneasy for a short while. But the sword intent on her body became sharper and sharper. Blood-red tentacles extended from the blood-red demonic moon and tried to drag her into hell. 7 Sword Inheritance. Heavenly Despair Killing Sword. Song Yue slashed forward with a green bronze blade that radiated cold killing intent. 7 Sword Inheritance. Heavenly Despair Killing Sword. Shua. A beautiful beam of cold light slashed out from the tattered sword. It seemed to shatter the void and alter the passing of time. Crack. The blood-colored demonic moon that Lin Tong created shattered, and the terrifying scenes from the demonic hell disappeared. In that instant, a cold killing intent full of slaughter passed through his body. Wah! Lin Tong's body shook as he spat out a mouthful of blood and turned white. 7 Sword Inheritance. You! Blood appeared in Lin Tong's eyes. Song Yue's attack had not only broken his technique, it also attacked his eye bloodline. The clash of these two only lasted a few seconds and Lin Tong had already used his most powerful skill. Not only did he lose, his eyes had even been injured by Song Yue. I lost. Lin Tong was depressed. He lost to Song Yue back then as well, and although they both had made major improvements, the distance between them was now even greater. In terms of bloodline talent and foundation, Lin Tong had the advantage, but Song Yue had entered the 7 Sword Inheritance and received the Core Inheritance. Her attacks had reached an unbelievable level and they could even break through a difference in cultivation. My opponent isn't you. Song Yue's voice was faint. Although she hadn't reached the True Lord rank yet, her offense was unparalleled among those below the True Lord rank. She could even threaten those at the True Lord rank. Shua! With a cold flash, a woman dressed in white appeared. Who is this? Lin Tong's face froze. The woman in white speed had exceeded his eye. Elder Bai, I'm here to challenge Zhao Feng. I hope you won't interfere. Song Yue said. The woman in white smiled. How would she not know what Song Yue was feeling? But her eyes turned to Lin Tong and her face went cold. Junior, what's your relationship with the Scarlet Moon demonic religion? Your skill and eye bloodline are definitely connected with the Scarlet Moon inheritance. Elder Bai's voice contained cold killing intent and Lin Tong hiccuped coldly. The mental energy pressure from Elder Bai was much stronger than the 4 palace lords of the Iron Dragon religion. Her eyes were like piercing swords that shot into his heart. He knew that if an expert at this level wanted to kill him, it would only take a thought. Facing Elder Bai's questioning, Lin Tong's heart fell. The Scarlet Moon demonic religion had indeed placed great importance on him, and gave him a chance to enter the Scarlet Moon inheritance. However, the Scarlet Moon demonic religion was the enemy of the entire continent and had offended countless forces. So, Right at this moment, True Lord Taishao and Old Su came out. Who dares to challenge the Broken Moon clan? True Lord Tiexiao's emotionless voice descended from the sky. According to the blood contract, he needed to protect the clan. 2 early-stage True Lord ranks? Surprise flashed by Elder Bai's eyes. True Lord ranks were peak existences even in great countries, and this faraway clan had 2. Of course, Elder Bai's eyes only glanced toward True Lord Taishao and Old Su. She didn't truly put them in her eyes. She harumphed coldly with disdain and coldness. True Lord Taishao and Old Su's body froze as their expressions turned to shock. Elder Bai's glance seemed to pierce through their hearts and, in just one look, the 2 didn't dare to look back. Peak True Lord rank! Old Su and True Lord Taishao exclaimed. The 2 instantly took a deep breath and acted like they were facing a great enemy. Luckily, Elder Bai didn't seem to take the 2 True Lord ranks to heart and turned back to Lin Tong. Lin Tong's face went white and he seemed as if he had fallen into an abyss. Instinct told him that the woman in front of him was probably stronger than anyone in the cloud area. Senior's eyes are indeed bright. This one was indeed once a member of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, but has left now. Lin Tong could only say. The second he finished saying this, the woman in white's eyes seemed to turn into swords. Lin Tong felt a wisp of killing intent lock onto him. His back was filled with cold sweat and didn't dare to move at all. Old Su and True Lord Tiexiao's expressions both changed. If this Elder Bai really wanted to kill Lin Tong, they might not be able to stop her. Hee. It's the Broken Moon clan's honor to have an expert from the 10,000 Sword clan. A warm laugh sounded with the dissension of wind and lightning. A soft breeze of wind and a light numbing sensation appeared. Shwa! A blue-haired youth appeared in the sky and the winds seemed to freeze. It's you? You're indeed worthy of being one of the 2 overwhelming prodigies. In just a couple months, you've already reached the True Lord rank. A sharp light appeared in Elder Bai's eyes as she immediately recognized the youth's identity. The pressure on Lin Tong immediately disappeared, and he almost fell down as soon as Zhao Feng arrived. The other True Lord ranks both let out a breath. Most people present, including Lin Tong, were puzzled. This person knew Zhao Feng? After all, not many people in the cloud area knew Zhao Feng's achievements in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. 10,000 Sword Clan? The number 1 sword clan in the northern continent. Old Su and True Lord Taishao both took in a cold breath. Even the cloud area knew of the 10,000 Sword Clan's name. In the northern continent, the Heavenly Yuan clan was the strongest and was one of the 10 strongest forces. The 10,000 Sword Clan was a force directly below the Heavenly Yuan clan and was enough to destroy 2 strong countries. No wonder she didn't put us in her eyes. True Lord Taishao understood. The opponent's clan and strength surpassed him and Old Su by far. Thank you for Senior's praise. I was just lucky and put in some effort. The status of overwhelming prodigy isn't mine. Zhao Feng replied humbly. In reality, this Elder Bai in front of him gave him some pressure and even a sense of danger. Her cultivation had reached the peak True Lord rank and she was a cultivator of the sword. Amongst those of the same cultivation, those that trained in the Tao of the sword had the strongest offense. Elder Bai's battle power was at least on par with the deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. This kid's potential is terrifying. What secret is contained within the inheritance he went to? Elder Bai's eyes twinkled as she looked at Zhao Feng. Back at the sacred True Dragon Gathering, Zhao Feng and Zhao Yufei both entered the mysterious inheritance. From the aura of the mysterious inheritance, it would likely have surpassed the 4 great inheritances, as it had at least pushed part of the Heaven's Legacy inheritance away. Not only was Elder Bai interested in this unknown inheritance, even sovereigns from the Sacred Alliance would be interested. Elder Bai, I hope you won't interfere in my spar with Zhao Feng. Song Yue's figure flashed in front of Zhao Feng. Fine. Elder Bai shook her head and went to spectate. She knew clearly how bent Song Yue was on this. Even though Zhao Feng was far stronger than expected, Song Yue would still challenge him. This was a cultivator of the sword, someone who had a powerful belief. Song Yue, you've improved a lot. If it was me before I broke through to the True Lord rank, we would have a big fight, but now, Zhao Feng said regretfully. Not long ago he had reached the early stage True Lord rank, and the difference in cultivation between the two was big. Song Yuye and Elder Bai both had solemn expressions. Before Song Yuye had come to challenge Zhao Feng, she had heard that Zhao Feng's cultivation was still at the true mystic rank. However, when she had arrived at the Broken Moon clan, Zhao Feng had already jumped to the early stage True Lord rank. Zhao Feng, don't speak your words too early. I've also killed geniuses at the True Lord rank in the Seven Sword Inheritance. Song Yue's eyes were filled with sword intent, and this aura brought a crashing wave onto the hearts of the people present. Old Su and True Lord Taishao both felt their hearts shake. If they even looked into Song Yue's eyes, their eyes would hurt. In that instant, Song Yue seemed to become a sword, and the tattered sword in her hand hummed with the power of time. Shu, before the attack even arrived, Song Yue's sword intent already radiated a cold aura that was full of slaughter. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye caught a glimpse of sharpness in the mental energy dimension that could kill ghosts. Such a powerful attack instantly shot toward Zhao Feng, and this mental energy attack could almost not be avoided. Ice Soul Shooting Line. Zhao Feng's left eye shot out a beam of ice blue light that blocked Song Yue's sword intent. Blocked the sword intent? Song Yue and Elder Bai's expressions changed dramatically. How did he do this? Sword intent attacks are faster than normal mental energy attacks, and Song Yue was the person to attack first. Elder Bai's heart shook in disbelief. Cultivators of the sword could form sword intent that could counter mental energy illusions and eye techniques to a certain level. Song Yue retreated. Her sword intent attack had not only been stopped by Zhao Feng, a coldness had even counterattacked. Song Yue's body and mind instantly slowed down, but luckily her sword intent had grown after she had entered the Seven Sword Inheritance, and she quickly destroyed the coldness. To face sword intent with his eye bloodline. Only a monster like him could do this. Lin Tong suppressed the waves in his heart. He could tell that Zhao Feng wasn't even serious. It was unimaginable what kind of skills Zhao Feng had. In the air, Zhao Feng and Song Yue's short clash was only understood by those at the true spirit realm. Elder Bai's eyes were full of shock and her expression was solemn. Zhao Feng, you've exceeded my estimations, but our battle has just begun. After exiting the Seven Sword Inheritance, my aim is the 5 overwhelming prodigies. Song Yue's sword intent kept on rising and her will became stronger. Shua! A ripple that could be seen with the naked eye started to form from the tattered sword. It hummed with a sound that shook the soul. A crushing sword intent formed that brought immense pressure to the mental energy dimension, and it shook the hearts of others at the true spirit realm. There's no other sword intent as strong as this within the cloud area. This sword intent is so dominant that it can threaten and attack the mind of True Lord ranks. Old Su and True Lord Taishao started to concentrate. The distance between them was quite short, so they could feel how strong the sword intent was. It was something they didn't even want to directly look at. Wang, Song Yue's ancient sword started to tremble, and a bright cold light started to radiate from it as it spat out a piercing beam that released a cold killing intent. Such a powerful will of sword intent. That sword. Everyone's gazes were attracted to the ancient sword. Probably had a deep history behind it. In just a few breaths, the aura from the tattered sword had doubled, and even tripled, as an unknown power seemed to awaken from it. Heavenly despair killing sword, random slaughter sword style. Song Yue's hair blew as the shining cold beam seemed to merge with her body. Shoo shoo shoo. Waves of sword lights flashed through the air and made the sun and moon lose their color. These piercing sword beams were half-transparent, and they destroyed everything in their path. Bam bam bam, the clouds and mountains would shatter wherever these sword beams went. Holes would form that were so deep, one couldn't even see the end. Dodge quickly and open the protective array. Open the array. The Broken Moon clan broke out into chaos. Many spectators were trembling in fear in front of this attack. It seemed as if thousands upon thousands of sword beams were starting a fearsome slaughter. The killing intent of these sword beams alone could make those under the True Lord rank lose the power to resist. This sword's power is enough to critically threaten normal True Lord ranks. True Lord Tai Xiao, Old Su, and Lin Tong all retreated as they tried to dissolve the power. Shu, bloody marks were left on Lin Tong's body, and he couldn't help but scream. Is this really the power of someone at the true mystic rank? Even Yu Tianhao didn't have such powerful offense before he reached the true lord rank. Zhao Feng's expression moved, and his casualness disappeared. The power in Song Yue's tattered sword even made the Ice Imperial Spear sense something. Song Yue's move was a wide-ranged attack that had no pattern whatsoever and couldn't be dodged. Woo! A wave of lightning appeared in front of Zhao Feng and began to rotate quickly. Ding ding ding, sparks flew everywhere as the sword beams were blocked, but there were a few powerful sharp sword beams that slashed straight toward Zhao Feng. Chio! Zhao Feng's figure disappeared amidst wind and lightning. However, Song Yue's comprehension of the sword exceeded his expectations. Several bright sword beams locked onto him the second he reappeared. Zhao Feng revealed a surprised expression. Wang! Boom! With a roar, he sent a ripple of wind and lightning that destroyed everything within a 20-yard radius. It was obvious Song Yue's strength had exceeded Zhao Feng's expectations. He was forced to use the strength of a true lord rank. After being ignited by the opponent, Song Yue's sword intent has risen to another level, and the power within the ancient inheritance sword is also awakening. The supreme sword-killing technique from the Seven Swords inheritance is indeed terrifying. Elder Bai's face was full of praise and admiration. An invisible barrier blocked the sword beam waves that came near her. Of the spectators, only Elder Bai could watch easily. Compared with her, the other two True Lord ranks, Old Su and True Lord Taishao, were panicking. Interesting, indeed worthy of the Seven Swords inheritance. Zhao Feng was happy instead of being shocked as he started to flash around the area. Woo! A layer of azure wind surrounded him, and it sent out arcs of lightning that destroyed the sword beams near him. Zhao Feng focused on movement. He was as agile as the wind while also occasionally as fast as lightning. He would occasionally counterattack with lightning-quick speed and power. Wind, lightning, chaotic storm. A ball of wind and lightning formed on Zhao Feng's palm as he created gusts of howling wind and rain across a 1-mile radius. Boom! The entire area was enveloped by dark clouds and lightning. This skill had exceeded normal techniques and had used the essence of the heaven-earth yuan qi to the maximum. Destruction slaughter sword style. Song Yue's expression changed as she was forced back by the storm of wind and lightning. She used another inheritance sword technique and created some sword winds. Bam! Song Yue's breathing rate quickened as the power of the awakening in her inheritance sword merged with her sword intent, allowing her to use twice as much power than she usually could. However, although she had power incomparable to before, it still couldn't stop the enemy in front of her. Zhao Feng had comprehended the inheritance of the Wind Lightning Emperor, and every action of his caused normal true lord ranks to be wary. Wah! A streak of blood leaked from Song Yue's mouth as her face went white. Wang! A wind blew over Song Yue that numbed her body. You've lost. Zhao Feng's hand slowly pressed toward Song Yue's shoulder. Song Yue had used powerful moves consecutively and over half of her yuan qi had been expended, whereas Zhao Feng was still full of energy. This was the difference between the True Lord rank and True Mystic rank. It's not over yet. Heaven's Sword Defiance Slaughter Style. A soul-trembling sword intent rose from Song Yue, and it seemed to turn light into darkness. It was as if she was hellbent on winning, even if it meant to turn the heaven and earth around. Without even turning her head, the tattered ancient sword in her hand flashed toward Zhao Feng in a beautiful arc. Everyone's expression changed watching this scene. Even I can't fully see past this sword intent. This sword is enough to kill more than half of the True Lord's ranks, and even those at the late-stage True Lord rank would find it hard to retreat unharmed from such a short distance. Elder Bai's face turned to happiness. She was hoping that this sword could kill Zhao Feng. On the other side, Taishao and Old Su were stunned. Without a doubt, Song Yue's sword intent and power had reached the peak of the sword Dao. Even these two True Lord ranks felt helpless against this move. Boom! A ripple of mesmerizing water blocked this fearsome sword. Whoosh! This ripple of water seemed to contain a softness that couldn't be described. 2 breaths later, over 90% of the beautiful sword beam had faded. Only a small light managed to pass through the ripple. It feels cold. Zhao Feng reached out and touched the small wound on his skin. Surprise was written all over his face. He had underestimated his opponent. Furthermore, Song Yue's last sword was unexpected, and the power it contained was enough to slay a normal true lord rank. However, this small wound quickly healed with the help of his bloodline power. Zhao Feng, I didn't think you would be so strong. Did you even use your true strength? Song Yue smiled bitterly as she fainted. Her strongest attack was enough to kill more than half of the true lord ranks out there, but it barely nicked Zhao Feng. Yue. With a flash of white light, Elder Bai grabbed a hold of Song Yue. Broken Moon Clan, Old Su, First Elder, and company all let out a breath. Although that last sword was terrifying and fearsome, they were more in admiration of Zhao Feng's strength. In front of that move, Zhao Feng was still able to react, and he even had a powerful defense as well as healing capabilities. After this, Zhao Feng came out from the unknown inheritance. He's been progressing as if he's a god. His bloodline, as well as his skills, have increased by leaps and bounds. Elder Bai's eyes flashed as she stared at Zhao Feng for a while. Zhao Feng felt a faint killing intent and danger, but he didn't show any signs of retreat. A while later, Elder Bai looked deeply toward Zhao Feng and left. She only had a 60% chance of killing him. This brat focuses on wind and lightning. Speed and offense is his forte. His eye bloodline is also defensive and can heal. It would be very hard to kill him. Elder Bai felt it was too troublesome. She could find almost no flaws from Zhao Feng and felt her head hurt. Furthermore, there were 2 other true lord ranks here and the Iron Blood religion wasn't simple. It was best not to offend them. Such reasons made Elder Bai give up killing Zhao Feng for the time being. Zhao Feng squinted his eyes as he watched Elder Bai leave with Song Yue. This Elder Bai isn't from the cloud area. She must have her intentions in coming to the Broken Moon Clan. Hatred filled Lin Tong's face. If it weren't for the fact that Zhao Feng had arrived, who knew what Elder Bai would have done to him? Lin Tong was someone who held a grudge, and now he hated Elder Bai. She's reached the peak true lord rank and is unfathomable. I hope she won't disrupt the situation in the cloud area. Old Su sighed. Both he and true Lord Taishao felt pressured when they faced Elder Bai. She should be a reinforcement and a personal bodyguard for Song Yue. Zhao Feng didn't believe what Lin Tong said. According to his own analysis, Elder Bai should be on the same side as Zhao Feng and the Dragon Killing Alliance. However, no matter what, no outsiders are allowed to mess with this place. A coldness appeared in Zhao Feng's eyes. This wasn't just because he was confident, it was also because Zhao Feng didn't want others to enter the cloud area. After all this was over, Zhao Feng returned to seclusion. He gained some insights from the battle with Song Yue and needed to consolidate his foundation. Half a day later, Zhao Feng's aura was concealed. The source of true spirit within his dantian had thickened and the liquid state of true spirit glistened. His chi of true spirit was as quick as lightning and as agile as the wind as it hummed throughout his body. A tiny bit of this aura was enough to easily kill those at the true human rank. A true lord rank's chi of true spirit was enormous and just a bit of it could kill those at the ascended realm. It was the same as how the true force from someone at the ascended realm could easily kill those at the consolidated realm. There's 7 great realms in the world of cultivation and unknowingly, I've reached the peak of the 3rd. Zhao Feng sighed as he looked back at the past. There were 7 great realms from the ancient times till now. Consolidated realm, ascended realm, true spirit realm, origin core realm, void god realm, mystic light realm, and heavenly divine realm. Zhao Feng was currently at the 3rd sky of the true spirit realm, the true lord rank, and he was at the peak of the cloud area. He was an expert even within the scope of the entire continent. A while later, Zhao Feng merged his consciousness into the Ice Imperial Spear, the Earth-grade inheritance weapon. Zhao Feng didn't dare take out the Ice Imperial Spear after returning to the Azure Flower continent. He knew how much of a shock an Earth-grade weapon would bring to the continent, even if it was a broken one. There were legends about Earth-grade weapons. In the ancient records, there was once an enormous country, the Daguang dynasty. Dynasties were something that the current Azure Flower continent would never dream of. Currently, the continent had small countries, strong countries, and great countries. The word dynasty was forbidden. However, the ruler of the Daguang dynasty did not believe this and created a dynasty anyway. Not long after, a divine weapon appeared and the Daguang dynasty was destroyed in one night. Ever since then, dynasties became a legend and were forbidden. The imperial spear in my hand is a broken Earth-grade weapon, and most of its powers are sleeping. Zhao Feng inspected. After the ice imperial spear merged into his body, it had disappeared. However, Zhao Feng could feel the information contained within. The ice imperial spear's element was extremely compatible with Zhao Feng and could be comprehended any time. As time passed, he started to understand how to use his bloodline of ice and water. Several days later, looks like the imperial spear is in a sleep-like state in my body. If I fully circulate my bloodline, I might be able to barely use its power. Zhao Feng felt compelled to try it, but he forcefully pushed this thought away. He didn't dare to allow the Earth-grade weapon's aura to be released. It was similar to Immortal suddenly getting a terrifying killing machine. The excitement, expectation, and uneasiness they had. Sky Cloud Forest. There was a large lake within the depths of the Sky Cloud Forest. On this day, a deep roar came from within the depths of the lake. With a walla, a large black python, around 20 yards long, leapt out from the lake. Its powerful and bloody aura made beasts within 10 miles tremble in fear. Xianxia. A male and female also floated out from the depths of the Sky Cloud Forest like ghosts. The female was dressed in black and had a very normal face. Her expression was as calm as water. Protector Yumo, your black water python just ate several true spirit realm beasts not long ago, and it even ate a true mystic rank human. Its aura is much stronger after awakening this time. The man in white smiled faintly. See. The black water python was like a small mountain as it stood still. It suddenly opened two eyes that were bigger than lanterns, and they were enough to scare people to death. I've given it the triple Een soil and scarlet demonic water. Its battle power is now comparable to the true lord rank. A smile appeared on the woman's face. This is a being comparable to the true lord rank. Looks like Protector Yumo will soon be treated with great importance by the upper echelons of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The man in white said with envy, Protector Sanling is too humble. I heard that 2 true lord ranks died one after another to your Sanling grass sword technique half a year ago in a strong country in the north. The female obviously didn't dare to underestimate the man in front of her. Xianxia. The two stepped onto the black water python and headed away. Soon, an old temple appeared ahead. Protector Yumo, Protector Sanling, we've been waiting for you too. An ugly corpse appeared from inside the temple. It had bloody stripes all over. Protector Blood Corpse. So. The 3 protectors flashed into the mysterious temple. Inside a broken building. Greetings, 3 protectors. Several figures rose from the corner and bowed. 3 protectors have already appeared. Apparently, the leader this time is Subdivision Leader Beatty. The situation in the cloud area is so bad? I heard that Deputy Subdivision Leader Yulong and the cunning Protector Blood Corpse both lost. There were dozens of auras within the temple. The weakest of these auras was at the true mystic rank, and many of them were responsible for keeping guard. Do you even need to ask? Deputy Subdivision Leader Yulong's lost a leg and Protector Blood Corpse's lost an arm. Apparently, all this was done by a junior. Most of them interacted with spiritual sense or secret techniques. Palace Lord Yulong and Palace Lord Blood Corpse were both in the group. The leading seat was empty, and Palace Yulong sat on the second seat with a dark expression. Subdivision Leader is here. A trembling voice sounded across the temple and a strict aura filled the chaotic building. A deep aura appeared within the temple and summoned gusts of wind. The temple seemed to tremble with the dissension of such a person. Greetings, Subdivision Leader. Dozens of figures within the temple, including Palace Lord Yulong, Protector Blood Corpse, and the man and female that had entered not long ago stood up. A large figure appeared on the first seat. The size of his body was comparable to a cow, and this figure had a fat face with small eyes. Its palms were the size of a fan, and its muscles were like goosebumps all over its body. This person was like the descension of a mountain. Several figures below started to sweat and felt unable to breathe. Subdivision Leader Beatty, I didn't think you would really come support the cloud area. A cold voice came from Palace Lord Yulong. Humph, Yulong, you were someone who had the potential to rise in the religion, yet half of the subdivision was defeated by a brat? Subdivision Leader Beatty snorted in dissatisfaction. Hearing this, Palace Lord Yulong's face became ugly, but he didn't erupt. In terms of strength and status, Palace Lord Yulong had fallen due to his injured leg, and he wasn't much stronger than some protectors. For the next part of the discussion, Palace Lord Yulong remained quiet. I heard that Subdivision Leader Beatty is extremely smart and a very good fighter and slew 9 true spirit realms at once, including a true lord rank. We shall listen to your commands from today onward. On the other hand, Protector Blood Corpse participated a lot in the discussions. That's right. We can take care of the cloud area by ourselves. The others all agreed. Bunch of idiots. Subdivision Leader Beatty's voice made the temple tremble. Humph. If that brat Xiaofeng was that easy to deal with, do you think Yulong would be defeated? Do you think the title of an overwhelming prodigy is just for show? Subdivision Leader Beatty harumphed and made the others sweat. Obviously, he was also not someone that would be easily sucked up to. Yulong, what suggestions do you have? Subdivision Leader Beatty's eyes landed on the silent Palace Lord Yulong. Yulong spoke. This subordinate recommends to first guard the 2 strong countries and 13 small countries and watch the change. We should take our time. Coward! The Scarlet Moon demonic religion never had trash like you when we ruled the continent. Subdivision Leader Beatty cursed and spat at Palace Lord Yulong. Ridiculous. Palace Lord Yulong was about to storm out but went cold when he raised his head. An eye seemed to be in the sky, coldly tracking all of his movements. This feeling caused extreme unease. Palace Lord Yulong had a strange feeling when he raised his head. It was as if an eye was coldly looking down at his every action. Suddenly, a blue eye of heaven appeared in the clouds and seemed to become one with the heaven and earth. That's... Palace Lord Yulong jumped up in fright. Yulong, what the hell is wrong with you? Subdivision Leader Beatty asked unhappily. He had just cursed at Yulong and thought that the latter was about to retort. Many figures in the building, including Protector Blood Corpse, Protector Yumo, and Protector Sanling, all looked toward Palace Lord Yulong in shock. Was he really going to go against Subdivision Leader Beatty? Everyone was sweating for Palace Lord Yulong, obviously thinking things wouldn't go well for him. Subdivision Leader, not good. That Xiaofeng's probably already here. Look! Palace Lord Yulong exclaimed and pointed outside. Everyone turned their head and looked around. There were no signs of anyone in the moonlight. The experts present even opened their spiritual sense, but they found no traces of anything within a radius of 12 miles. A while later, everyone looked toward Palace Lord Yulong questioningly. Why is it gone? Palace Lord Yulong seemed like he had seen a ghost. The eye of heaven faded away in the blink of an eye, as if it was just a feeling. Everyone, you must believe me. I know I saw Xiaofeng's eye just now. He's watching us with some secret method. Palace Lord Yulong took a deep breath and said with a solemn expression. When one reached his level, they would be confident in their senses. However, the people inside the building were somewhat suspicious. Deputy Subdivision Leader Yulong, you're saying that brat Xiaofeng is secretly following us? A smile appeared on the subdivision leader's chubby face. His eye has left a deep impression on me. It wasn't just a feeling. Palace Lord Yulong stared outside, but the eye of heaven didn't appear again. Hee, Deputy Subdivision Leader Yulong, why were you the only one to sense it out of all of us here? Could Subdivision Leader not sense it even with his cultivation? Or how about Protector Yumo, whose forte is in detection and has the best senses among us? The man in white, Protector Sanling, smiled. Everyone agreed with what he said. I would like to believe what you've said. Oh, if only that brat dared to come. I'm just scared he's too afraid to come. Ha ha ha. Subdivision leader Beatty roared with laughter and created gusts of wind that blew the sand away. The others all started to praise him. Palace Lord Yulong sat down with a sigh, defeated. He couldn't do anything if they didn't want to believe him. Furthermore, this group of experts didn't need to fear anything within the cloud area. In 3 days' time, I will lead Protector Yumo, Protector Sanling, and a dozen others to the Broken Moon Clan. We'll first wipe out the Broken Moon Clan, then take care of the Dragon-Killing Alliance and other spawn. As for Yulong and Blood Corpse, you two are responsible for cleaning up the remains. Subdivision leader Beatty's voice was filled with power. Although he had asked for the suggestion of others, he didn't actually listen to anyone and went on with his plan. Palace Lord Yulong remained expressionless and silent. He raised his head instinctively toward the sky outside. Suddenly, his heart jumped once more. It's appeared. A large transparent eye appeared out of nowhere. The discussion within the building was immediately broken as everyone looked outside. What the hell? Deputy Subdivision Leader Yulong. What are you doing? Everyone was dissatisfied. There was nothing outside. Palace Lord Yulong almost coughed up a mouthful of blood. The Eye of Heaven had disappeared in the blink of an eye. Before it disappeared, Palace Lord Yulong even saw the playfulness within the eye. Yulong, are you doing this on purpose? Anger appeared on Subdivision Leader Beatty's face. If it were a normal member, he would have killed them already. Palace Lord Yulong's face went red and green as he tried to say something. It must be Zhao Feng purposely playing with me. Palace Lord Yulong decided to not say anything even if the Eye of Heaven appeared again. It was like the story of the boy who cried wolf. No one else would believe him anymore. As expected, the Eye of Heaven appeared once more and gazed down coldly. Palace Lord Yulong's heart dropped. He felt uneasy and pressured. However, only he could feel this pressure. Palace Lord Yulong opened his spiritual sense and scanned everything within dozens of miles. But he could find no traces of Zhao Feng. It was hard to imagine what kind of secret technique this Eye of Heaven was. Palace Lord Yulong didn't think that this Eye of Heaven was watching just himself. Within the building, as time passed, there was finally a second person that felt the presence of the Eye of Heaven. Protector Yumo suddenly felt a pressure and an eye that seemed to watch her. She instinctively raised her head toward the night sky outside. However, this one glance made her fall into a limitless abyss. The Eye of Heaven released a mental energy power that merged with the darkness. Protector Yumo suddenly roared and waved her hand, summoning liquid that splattered over everyone within the building. So. The liquid contained a terrifying erosive power that could turn normal true spirit realms into a puddle of water. Arg! Bone-chilling screams came from within the building. This was a stronghold of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, and its protectors were among the top battle powers. Almost 10 people were injured by Protector Yumo's attack, and 5 or 6 died. Protector Yumo, what the fuck are you doing? Protector Sanling, Protector Blood Corpse, and company were all hit. Come. Killing intent appeared in Protector Yumo's eyes as she waved her jade-like hand, summoning a 20-yard-long black python. Boom! The building they were in crumbled, and the array's power wasn't strong enough to block the true Lord rank beast's attack. Dodge quickly. This black python's comparable to the true Lord rank. What the fuck is wrong with Protector Yumo? Quickly restrain her. Arg! Protector Yumo and the black python stared to attack the entire temple. Sang. So. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion quickly evaded in panic. Protector Yumo and the black python were both comparable to 2 true Lord ranks. Protector Blood Corpse and company ran away faster than rabbits. Humph. Everyone should believe me now. Palace Lord Yulong snickered and looked toward the sky. Oh my god. That eye. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion drew in cold breaths. The Eye of Heaven made their hearts tremble. Who? Boom! Protector Yumo and the black python started to attack everyone in sight. Stop her! Subdivision leader Beatty roared as a large axe appeared in his hand. It was 2 or 3 yards long and pitch black, and it released a bloodthirsty aura. Dominating heaven slash. The large axe slashed through the air, and the wind pressure that was created made it hard to breathe for the other members. Whoosh! The small mountain-sized black python was cut in two by subdivision leader Beatty. With a boom, the python turned into a small mountain of meat. The Scarlet Moon demonic religion members watched with shock. Subdivision leader Beatty's power was terrifying, and the black python that was comparable to the true lord rank was cut into pieces like a cucumber. One had to know large beasts had a strong life force, and a lot of time and energy were required to kill them. For example, the towering tree Yao within the Purple Saint ruins was so. However, subdivision leader Beatty specialized in heavy weapons and was an exception. Several breaths later, after the initial chaos, Protector Yumo was restrained by the others. This time, subdivision leader Beatty didn't do anything. His heavy weapon was too strong and would accidentally kill or injure someone. The black python's threat was too big, and it had to be put down with one axe. After all the chaos, the temple they were in had been destroyed. In the moonlight, the Scarlet Moon demonic religion members were standing around. The expressions of subdivision leader Beatty and the other members were all very ugly. Many of them glanced up toward the sky uneasily. But the eye of heaven disappeared long ago. You Long, if you already found the brat, why didn't you tell us? Subdivision leader Beatty roared. Palace Lord Yulong almost exploded from anger as he yelled back, I already warned you twice. But who was the one that said, I'm just scared that he won't come? You! Subdivision leader Beatty howled as he raised the giant bloody axe. Subdivision leader, please calm down. Protector Sandling, Protector Blood Corpse, and company's expressions all changed. Subdivision leader, now's not the time to fight. That brat's eye bloodline specializes in finding flaws in emotions. Protector Yumo was tricked by him just now. Protector Blood Corpse quickly warned. Hearing this, the hearts of the other members shook. Everyone saw what happened to Protector Yumo. Among the group, Protector Yumo specialized in mental energy techniques and controlling beasts. Yet an expert such as her had been controlled by the eye of heaven? Search. Dig up the ground if you have to and bring that brat here. Subdivision leader Beatty's eyes were filled with hatred as he roared. An hour later, the members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion had searched over 100 miles. But there was no sign of any unusual auras or other traces of any kind. 1,000 miles away on top of a mountain, Zhao Feng's hair was blowing in the wind. His expression was frozen like a corpse. On his shoulder was a silver-gray cat that yawned lazily. Zhao Feng's dim eyes suddenly lit up and his sight returned to his body. Although the energy required to use the eye of heaven increases with distance, its power actually increases. Zhao Feng's expression was slightly weak, but he was happy. If the members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion knew the situation Zhao Feng was currently in, who knew how shocked and helpless they would be. To be able to use the eye of heaven from 1,000 miles away, this already exceeded the imagination of many. On the other hand, the energy expended was 10 times more than usual. Luckily, Zhao Feng's soul had surpassed normal True Lord ranks after absorbing the Wood Spirit soul essence, and the God Spiritual Eye's evolution allowed Zhao Feng to obtain better control, reducing the energy expended. After using the Eye of Heaven, Zhao Feng didn't continue pressing forward, even though he still had some energy remaining. He sat down and started to recover his bloodline power. While he was recovering his bloodline power, Zhao Feng also comprehended the information within the Ice Imperial Spear and Wind Lightning Stone Tablet. 1,000 miles away, the ancient temple had been reduced to rubble. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion were uneasy. Even though there were many experts present, they didn't feel safe. Reporting to Subdivision Leader, the top trackers here have all used several secret techniques, but haven't found anything unusual. A black figure half-kneeled on the ground. So, a couple others returned as well, with nothing to report. Ridiculous! Subdivision Leader Beatty roared like a monster in the night. Subdivision Leader, this subordinate is afraid that Zhao Feng's secret technique can be controlled from a very far distance. Protector Yumo said carefully in a weak tone. She had just been controlled by Zhao Feng's eye technique and caused a lot of damage to the subdivision. Her black python also died. She was scared and hateful of the owner of the eye. That might be true. We've got a lot of people and subdivision leaders' battle power is unparalleled. No matter how strong Zhao Feng is, he wouldn't dare to come. Protector Blood Corpse's eyes twinkled and he nodded his head. Many of the experts here were knowledgeable and agreed with this theory. True. After all, the Eye of Heaven isn't a physical form. But there are some problems. How did Zhao Feng know we were here? Palace Lord Yulong's eyes coldly scanned over the members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The hair of many members straightened as they were stared at by Palace Lord Yulong. You're saying that we have a spy? Subdivision leader Beatty asked coldly as he licked his lips gruesomely. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion instantly looked toward each other with wariness. Palace Lord Yulong's suspicions made the atmosphere heavy. Many people tensed up and didn't dare to relax. This lasted for half a night, but the Eye of Heaven didn't reappear. Subdivision leader Beatty started to question the members separately. Arg! A scream sounded as light started to appear in the sky. This is the third spy subdivision leader has killed. The protectors looked at each other. Being suspicious like this isn't the best plan. Palace Lord Yulong shook his head. He didn't know the source of all this was him. If it weren't for the God's eye mark on him, this place couldn't have been located by Zhao Feng so precisely. On the second day, as the sun was rising, those from the Scarlet Moon demonic religion went on their way, all of them tired. The best defense is a good offense. I don't believe that brat won't come out if we go to the Broken Moon clan. Subdivision leader Beatty finally stopped the questioning and decided to attack. The protectors didn't argue. Currently, the enemy was in darkness while they were in the light. This was the best tactic. So. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion traveled through the air on their flying steeds. For the next half-day, the Eye of Heaven didn't appear. Zhezha, that brat's eye bloodline obviously carries a heavy price and can't be used continuously. A few members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion smiled. The tense atmosphere started to relax. On the morning of the second day, the Scarlet Moon demonic religion members all felt an invisible mental energy pressure. Looking up at the sky, an Eye of Heaven appeared and was surveying them coldly. It's appeared again. The hearts of those from the Scarlet Moon demonic religion shook. Most of them were unable to breathe. Everyone, watch out! The entire Scarlet Moon demonic religion acted as if they were facing a powerful foe. Junior, if you don't come here, I will kill everyone in your clan. Subdivision leader Beatty revealed a cruel smile and threatened. He waved the rusty axe in his hand and slashed upward. Although subdivision leader Beatty's attack was very powerful and could slay normal True Lord ranks, it passed through the Eye of Heaven without doing any damage. This time, the Eye of Heaven only lasted 2 or 3 breaths and didn't do anything obvious toward the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. The Eye of Heaven had a tinge of playfulness in it before it disappeared. Gone. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion let out a breath, but in the next instant, the flying steeds under their feet all screeched and started to charge toward the ground as if they were crazy. What's going on? Everyone, watch out! The entire Scarlet Moon demonic religion group was caught off guard and they were injured because of the flying steeds. So boom boom, these powerful flying beasts rushed down from the sky and shattered their own bones. Even subdivision leader Beatty's flaming giant lion was included. My lion! Subdivision leader Beatty's eyes bulged as he went crazy and howled at the sky. The heaven-earth Yuan-Chi within a 10-mile radius started to tremble and the powerful aura made the other True Lord ranks uneasy. The flaming giant lion was a precious beast that was comparable to a True Lord rank. However, it just threw him off and charged straight toward the ground, becoming a pile of blood and flesh. How much pressure would there be if one charged straight down from the sky at such a height? Putting those at the True Lord rank aside, even those at the Origin Core realm would break into pieces if they had no defense. Although the Eye of Heaven didn't harm any members this time, it killed most of their flying steeds. The True Spirit realm was just the learning stage of flying. One needed a flying steed to travel long distances. This was especially the case for those at the true human rank. After a couple hundred miles, their chi of true spirit would be fully expended. Only those at the true lord rank had a thick and dense enough source of true spirit to fly several thousand miles at once. A while later, the members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion regained their calm, but they all had sullen expressions. After all, many of their flying steeds had been with them for years and were a companion. Reporting to subdivision leader, our main flying steeds have all died. If we want to change flying steeds, it'll take us another half a month to reach the Broken Moon clan, a member said with a depressed expression. The protectors and the other experts all had solemn expectations and felt troubled. Although Zhao Feng didn't injure anyone, he had slowed their progress by more than half. This meant that they would need at least twice as much time to reach the Broken Moon clan. This Zhao Feng also specializes in beast taming? Protector Yumo's eyes were full of shock. If that wasn't the case, nothing could explain how Zhao Feng could force the Scarlet Moon demonic religion members' steeds to commit suicide. After a certain amount of traveling, the members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion kept distance between themselves as they surveyed the sky. In the blink of an eye, 2 days had passed. In this amount of time, the eye of heaven had only appeared once more, but it had disappeared after half a breath. Even then, this made their hearts tremble. I'll fly over there and destroy the Broken Moon clan and rip Zhao Feng's skin off and make him feel unimaginable pain. Subdivision leader Beatty's face was filled with cruelness. On the night of the third day, Shua, the eye of heaven appeared out of nowhere, but its aura was extremely stealthy. It's appeared. There were always members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion on watch. Shua's piercing screech sounded in the air. It was as if a sword was cutting the wind. Watch out! Palace Lord Yulong suddenly felt a familiar feeling and instinctively opened his chi of true spirit. However, when the sound of the wind entered their eyes, it was too late. Whoosh! A large half-transparent blade of wind slashed forward. Arg! The man in white, Protector Sanling, screamed. Before he was able to summon his chi of true spirit, his body had been cut in half. Sii. The others all drew in a cold breath. Protector Sanling is dead. Everyone felt their bones go cold. It was as if they were walking over a canyon on a metal string that could snap at any time. Shua. After making the first kill, the eye of heaven disappeared with a mocking glint. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion let out a breath. But something happened immediately afterward. Wind, lightning, fire, God's eye. The eye of heaven appeared once more, but this time it turned azure and its aura was different. Fush! A half-transparent flame landed on Protector Yumo and exploded with a bang. Arg! The woman screamed as her body was enveloped by wind and lightning. The attack passed through the physical world and into her soul. Everyone's scalp tingled. Protector Yumo only lasted a breath or two before turning into dust. She didn't have Palace Lord Yulong's strong bloodline, and Zhao Feng's Wind Lightning True Flame's power had increased after reaching the True Lord rank. In just a few breaths' time, the Eye of Heaven killed 2 protectors of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Shua! The Eye of Heaven's aura faded as it disappeared. The Scarlet Moon demonic religion members were full of fear and uneasiness. Death could descend at any moment. Come out and fight us if you have the courage, Junior. Subdivision leader Beatty screamed with bulging eyes as his peak True Lord rank aura created storms within a 10-mile radius. Protector Yumo and Protector Sanling's deaths were the equivalent of Subdivision leader Beatty losing both his left and right arm. Within the crowd, 2 True Lord ranks, Palace Lord Yulong and Protector Bloodcorpse, looked at each other with shock. That Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power is even stronger than before. Such progress. Has he reached the True Lord rank? The 2 Palace Lords couldn't help but guess. They had both fought with Zhao Feng before and knew about his eye bloodline firsthand. Of course, Zhao Feng reaching the True Lord rank wasn't a surprise to them. However, they wouldn't have expected Zhao Feng to jump straight to the early stage True Lord rank. On a tree several hundred miles away. Humph! Who knows how many of you will still be alive when you reach the Broken Moon clan? Zhao Feng's expression was slightly weak, but a cold snicker appeared on his face. Over the past few days, he would replenish his energy before it all ran out. Then he would reach his peak state and attack again, which allowed every attack to be successful. After killing 2 protectors of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power was very low. For the next 2 days, Zhao Feng started to recover, waiting to attack again. The remaining targets were more troublesome. Subdivision leader Beatty had reached the peak True Lord rank, and his battle power was maybe comparable to the Deputy Patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. Palace Lord Yulong and Protector Blood Corpse both had thick skin, and their defense was extremely strong. This was especially so for Palace Lord Yulong. Killing him was perhaps the hardest task. In the blink of an eye, 2 or 3 days passed by. The members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion were like lost chicks as they passed through the sky cloud forest. Over the last couple days, they were tense. No one knew when the next eye of heaven would appear. Calculating the time, Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power should have recovered by now. Protector Blood Corpse went on guard. According to the pattern, he was most likely to be next. Subdivision leader Beatty and Palace Lord Yulong's strength were obviously better. Thus, they would be harder to kill. There's no path of retreat. Even if we retreat now, we can't escape him unless he allows it. Palace Lord Yulong felt helpless. There was still a chance to fight Zhao Feng before he broke through to the True Lord rank. But now that Zhao Feng's strength had increased and he had this mysterious Eye of Heaven, Palace Lord Yulong felt helpless. No one knew how to deal with this Eye of Heaven, even though they were all extremely knowledgeable. That Zhao Feng can track us no matter where we go. Subdivision leader Beatty's eyes glanced around and found something was wrong. Palace Lord Yulong predicted that there was a spy in the group, but the remaining members were all loyal subordinates. Night. Shua. A familiar mental energy pressure appeared in the sky. The Eye of Heaven had appeared once more. The hearts of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion members sped up as cold sweat appeared on their foreheads. Beatty, Yulong, and Protector Blood Corpse all acted as if they were facing a great foe. Unexpectedly, the Eye of Heaven didn't attack one of those 3 directly this time. Die! Junior! Come here and die! Almost half of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion elites suddenly charged toward one target with red eyes. Kill! These members all charged toward Subdivision leader Beatty without any care. What? Subdivision leader Beatty's expression changed dramatically. Most of the attacking members were at the true mystic rank. Eye of the Heart. The Eye of Heaven released a mysterious mental energy power that created illusions and dreams. Bam! Shoo! Shoo! Subdivision leader Beatty roared and waved his giant axe, splitting the closest elites in half. The remaining members of the demonic religion couldn't help but go cold. With Subdivision leader Beatty's roar and powerful slash, the remaining members that were controlled regained their consciousness like they had woken up from a dream. Terrifying. The remaining group felt uneasy. Shwa! The Eye of Heaven disappeared once more from their sight. Subdivision leader, if this continues, how many of us will still be alive when we reach the Broken Moon clan? An old member asked bitterly. The 3 experts went silent. A tiny cloud area has such a terrifying new star. I've underestimated the title of overwhelming prodigy. Subdivision leader Beatty's hands trembled as his expression kept on changing. It didn't matter if he was feeling regret now. No matter what they did, they couldn't escape the Eye of Heaven. If there really is a spy among us, then maybe we should split up. Palace Lord Yulong suggested. No, we can't. We're more likely to be hunted down, and everyone apart from Subdivision leader will probably be killed. Protector Blood Corpse immediately retorted. The chance of Zhao Feng killing him was far too high if they split up. We can't retreat. Charge toward the Broken Moon clan. Subdivision leader Beatty roared. His hatred, anger, and killing intent reached a peak. He didn't know that splitting up actually was the best tactic. Once they split up, Zhao Feng could only track Palace Lord Yulong due to the God's Eye mark. Trying to find someone in this enormous sky cloud forest was like trying to find a needle in the ocean. Over the next few days, the Eye of Heaven didn't appear. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. These 5 days felt like 5 long years to the remaining members. It still hasn't appeared? Is Zhao Feng being nice? He's not going to strike the iron while it's hot. The demonic religion members were puzzled, but they didn't dare to let their guard down. On the 6th day, on top of a hill near the edges of the forest. Subdivision leader Beatty seemed to sense something as he locked onto a hill. On top of the hill, a blue-haired youth bathed in the sun lazily. Who's there? Subdivision leader Beatty paused. He didn't recognize the youth. Zhao Feng. Yulong and Protector Blood Corpse both exclaimed in shock. They didn't know whether to be happy or scared right now. Zhao Feng? You're that Zhao Feng? Ha 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 ha. Subdivision leader Beatty's oily face twisted as his anger over the past couple days found release. Protector Blood Corpse and Yulong were both stunned and didn't dare to attack. This Zhao Feng dares to fight us head-on? He's indeed reached the True Lord rank. Wait, how is this possible? The early-stage True Lord rank. The two glanced at each other with shock and wariness. Dominating heaven raging demon slash. Subdivision leader Beatty's large body disappeared with the howling of wind. Although he was an expert that focused on strength, his attack was as fast as lightning. Huang! Boom! Subdivision leader Beatty's giant axe demolished the small hill. Crack! A deep chasm appeared, extending several miles. At this point in time, dust and dirt blew everywhere as everything within a couple miles was blocked. Hee, you're indeed worthy of being a subdivision leader of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. A sharp hum of lightning and a screech of wind sounded. A ripple of wind and lightning could be seen under the blue-haired youth. What terrifying speed! He's at least twice as fast as before. Palace Lord Yulong's heart dropped. Although subdivision leader Beatty's attack wave was extremely powerful, it didn't hit Zhao Feng. Chio! An arc of wind and lightning twisted throughout the sky. Wind-lightning tornado! An eye-catching ball of wind and lightning started to form in the air, creating a chaotic storm of striking lightning and piercing wind. The enormous wind-lightning tornado descended from the sky and extended across a half-mile diameter, enveloping everyone from the demonic religion. Arg! Screams sounded continuously. In just an instant, more than half of the demonic religion cultivators were injured. So, Palace Lord Yulong and Protector Blood Corpse roared as they charged out of the wind-lightning tornado, but the weaker Protector Blood Corpse paled and his entire body was scorched. Over the past half-month, I was also comprehending the wind-lightning stone tablet and the ice imperial spear. This wind-lightning tornado was created from the former, and it's a wide-ranged attack that is extremely strong. Zhao Feng's body was floating in the air. The intents of wind and lightning around him were much more profound than before. Another reason why Zhao Feng didn't use the god's spiritual eye over the past 5 days was because it was becoming weird. In the dimension of his left eye, the pond had finally reached 10 yards. However, while the surface of the pond was extremely smooth, a chaotic force was brewing underneath it. Zhao Feng's eye bloodline was just a step away from reaching another level. It was due to this that Zhao Feng gave up killing the members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion with his Eye of Heaven and came here personally. It's time to test out my comprehension. The wind and lightning under Zhao Feng's feet shook as he disappeared with a flash. Dominating sky limitless slash. An enormous flash of axelight twisted the air as it struck toward where Zhao Feng was. The power contained within it was enough to kill several True Lord ranks. Dominating sky limitless slash. The axelight flashed by Zhao Feng's side. Shu the blue-haired youth appeared from the other side with an arc of lightning. This Scarlet Moon subdivision leader strength has reached Yi Yenyu's level. The ripple of wind and lightning surrounding Zhao Feng faded in color. Although the attack just now didn't hit Zhao Feng directly, just a bit of it was enough to kill those at the peak True Mystic rank. Other cultivators at the peak True Lord rank weren't willing to clash against those that specialized in power like subdivision leader Beatty. Of course, Zhao Feng had been comprehending the wind-lightning stone tablet and his offense was pretty strong too. Zhao Feng's figure flashed with a blurry light and disappeared. His speed made normal True Lord ranks helpless. In the next instant, the humming of wind and lightning sounded from behind subdivision leader Beatty's head. Wind-lightning crackling strike. A blurry blue-haired figure summoned a giant blade of wind and lightning, about 7 or 8 yards long, that crackled loudly. Shwa! Shoo! When the blade slashed through the air, thunder boomed and sparks flew everywhere. Subdivision leader Beatty's expression became solemn as his giant battle axe turned into a wall that blocked Zhao Feng's attack, producing a loud explosion. The area the two were in was instantly covered with dust, sand, and wind. Retreat quickly. The nearby members of the demonic religion started to run as several of them were killed from the clash. After the dust settled, Qiu, the arc of lightning and wind once again flew into the sky. Another blade formed in Zhao Feng's hand and he had a smile on his face. On the other hand, subdivision leader Beatty was ruffled. Although he wasn't injured, there were some scorch marks on his clothes. Dominating Heaven 10 Destruction Strike. Subdivision leader Beatty roared and sent beams of light. The beams formed a shape, the character for the number 10. Wind lightning explosion. Zhao Feng didn't feel any fear at all. He compressed the blade in his hand and threw it through the air, creating waves of lightning that swept across a half-mile radius. In just a few breaths, the two experts had clashed several times. Both of them fought offense with offense, neither of them giving up. Subdivision leader Beatty's battle power was unparalleled and he could suppress others with his strength alone. But Zhao Feng relied on his speed and was like a ghost that flew freely across the sky. This isn't looking good. Zhao Feng's already grown to such a stage that he's comparable to a subdivision leader. Shock appeared on Protector Blood Corpse and Yulong's faces. They were wary and fearful of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline and guessed that Zhao Feng's forte was his eye. His other attributes shouldn't have been very strong. However, this scene in front of them once again changed their view of Zhao Feng. Subdivision leader Beatty roared angrily, but he was unable to gain any advantage. Zhao Feng's attack was as fast as lightning. No one could see him. Although subdivision leader Beatty had unparalleled offense and strength, Zhao Feng was controlling the battle. All of his attacks were aimed at subdivision leader Beatty's minor flaws. He would take advantage of even the slightest flaw, forcing subdivision leader Beatty to use more chi of true spirit. "What the fuck are you two doing?" Subdivision leader Beatty howled. In this battle, subdivision leader Beatty was extremely frustrated. Although he was extremely strong, Zhao Feng was leading him around by the nose. "Go!" Protector Blood Corpse and Palace Lord Yulong didn't hesitate anymore and turned into two streaks of light that charged toward Zhao Feng. "Hee. This one will beat you 3 until you admit your defeat in both heart and body." The laugh of a youth sounded amidst humming lightning and wind. "Arrogant. Junior, die." Protector Blood Corpse and Palace Lord Yulong entered the battle. Zhao Feng's ripple of wind and lightning suddenly shone and released countless rings of wind and lightning in every direction. The two protectors felt a powerful pressure and numbing sensation when they got close. Dominating Heaven Limitless Slash. Subdivision leader Beatty's axe flashed once again as he teamed up with the other two. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and exchanged blows with Protector Blood Corpse and Palace Lord Yulong Bang. With the explosion of lightning, Protector Blood Corpse was kicked aside by Zhao Feng and his body started to smoke. This aura of wind and lightning intent. Palace Lord Yulong felt a terrifying aura of wind and lightning envelope his body when his palm clashed with Zhao Feng's. His body was pushed back dozens of yards and felt numb. In just 1 or 2 moves, Zhao Feng had injured the two protectors. Cunning brat! Subdivision leader Beatty's axe flew forward, but its power was restricted due to him worrying about Palace Lord Yulong and Protector Blood Corpse. Zhao Feng stood still without retreating as his hair became calm. Wang! A layer of running water and lightning appeared over Zhao Feng. Break! Zhao Feng clapped his hands together as he circulated his bloodline power to summon a wave of water that clashed head-on with subdivision leader Beatty's axe. In that instant, the original Kamezalake youth became a tsunami. Boom! The axe and Zhao Feng intertwined mid-air. These two apocalyptic powers competed against each other. This brat's bloodline power is so strong. Although subdivision leader Beatty's blow only used 80% of his full strength, it was blocked head-on by Zhao Feng, and he felt the erosion of wind and lightning pushing forward. The water bloodline originates from the ocean. It can be soft or hard, and it can devour the heavens and earth. Information from the ice imperial spear surfaced in Zhao Feng's mind. It was related to ice, but it included water as well because the two were originally the same anyway. Water was more powerful and unfathomable. Ice was created from water, and to truly understand ice, one must understand water first. Zhao Feng was currently comprehending and using his water bloodline battle tactics. In the air, Zhao Feng and subdivision leader Beatty were locked together. The giant axe couldn't push forward anymore. Zhao Feng's two hands were like the ocean that could absorb everything. Although subdivision leader Beatty was very strong, his strength was gradually decreasing because of Zhao Feng's water bloodline. You too! Hurry up and come over! Subdivision leader Beatty circulated his chi of true spirit and roared. Protector Blood Corpse and Palace Lord Yulong's eyes lit up. At this moment in time, Zhao Feng and subdivision leader Beatty were in a stalemate. This was a good chance. Die! Kill! Protector Blood Corpse and Palace Lord Yulong flew toward Zhao Feng's left and right. The interference of two true lord ranks would be enough to turn the tide. Ha ha ha! Arrogant brat! Prepare to die under my axe. Subdivision leader Beatty laughed smugly. His muscles were like goosebumps and radiated a terrifying power. In front of this, Zhao Feng seemed infinitely small. If it weren't for the fact that he had comprehended some battle skills from his water bloodline, he wouldn't be able to resist such a powerful force. Right at this moment, the two true lord ranks reached Zhao Feng. From water to ice. Zhao Feng's blue hair blew as a chilling coldness spread. Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly turned the color of ice and his bloodline power became bone-chillingly cold. Cold? Subdivision leader Beatty felt a weird coldness. His axe started to freeze as a chill penetrated into his body. Ice-sealed death zone! Zhao Feng exclaimed as a large majestic figure, wearing a crown and holding a giant black sword, appeared and sat on a throne. A terrifying cold blue wind swept by and devoured everything within several dozen yards. Palace Lord Yulong, who was at the front, felt numb and started to freeze. No matter how much he struggled, he couldn't resist the terrifying bloodline power of turning water to ice. With Zhao Feng as the center, everything within 50 yards was engulfed by the cold blue wind while lightning flew everywhere. It was enough to restrain normal true lord ranks. Not good. Protector Blood Corpse and Palace Lord Yulong's hearts both shook. Their bodies went cold and started to feel numb at the same time. Protector Blood Corpse's cultivation was lower, and he barely managed to last a breath or two before starting to freeze. He was already a corpse and couldn't fight back much against the petrification of the cold. In addition, even subdivision leader Beatty, locked together with Zhao Feng, started to freeze. His expression of fear and shock was obvious. Time passed by slowly. 1 breath, 2 breaths, 3 breaths. Everything within a few dozen yards of Zhao Feng was sealed in ice. This included Zhao Feng himself, but the cold light surrounding him occasionally turned to water. This ice-sealed death zone is created not only with the information within the Ice Imperial Spear, it also has the help of Goddess Bing Wei's secret bloodline technique. Zhao Feng was like a magnificent ice statue as he sealed the 3 experts in ice. Back at the Sacred True Dragon Gathering, Goddess Bing Wei had embraced him in order to use this move, and she almost succeeded in sealing Zhao Feng. This scene appeared once more, but it succeeded this time around. Zhao Feng's main target was the subdivision leader of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. His 2 hands had been holding back the axe while this extremely fast and powerful skill activated from such a close distance. The subdivision leader, Protector Blood Corpse, and Palace Lord Yulong all fell into this trap. It was sunset, and the dusk light was reflecting off the mesmerizing crystal blue ice. There were 4 figures sealed in ice. None of them moved. This situation lasted for an entire hour. More than a dozen figures suddenly flew over. Old Su, look! A youth pointed toward the ice and exclaimed. Next to the youth was a beauty in blue. She had an elegant and calm aura. Brother Zhao's in that ice. The female in blue's expression changed dramatically. Jeaner, don't get too close. Old Su stopped the group. A bone-chilling coldness was emitting from the small ice mountain, and the cold gusts of wind that were blowing within a 1-mile radius were like sharp knives. Those under the true spirit realm couldn't even get close to the ice. The cold alone was enough to kill them. Master, why is Brother Zhao sealed in ice with those people? And who are they? Princess Jean managed to calm down as she stared at the blue-haired youth. Old Su inspected the area for a while and his expression grew solemn. Shock filled his eyes. All the members of the Dragon-Killing Alliance held their breath. They knew that Old Su knew something. A long while later, Old Su took a deep breath and was full of admiration and respect. He spoke, Xiaofeng, I didn't think you would be able to reach such a level where you could freeze 3 experts of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, including a subdivision leader, in ice. Scarlet Moon subdivision leader? Scarlet Moon demonic religion? Everyone revealed looks of fear. They never would have imagined that the 3 sealed together with Zhao Feng would have such a background. Brother Zhao fought with these 3 and finally sealed them away, but he sealed himself as well. Princess Jin's face was filled with joy and worry as she stared intently at the blue-haired youth. Scarlet Moon subdivision leader. A person of this level only appeared in myths. Several hundred years ago, the 12 divisions and 108 subdivisions of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion swept across the continent and brought about its greatest glory. At their peak, a subdivision could destroy several strong countries with ease. The scene in front of them was a battle between an overwhelming prodigy and a Scarlet Moon subdivision leader. All of this was incredible. They couldn't help but become excited. Everyone, retreat. Don't come within a 10-mile radius. Old Su ordered. It wasn't hard for him to sense the aura of life within the ice, especially Zhao Feng in the middle. Princess Jean and company retreated without hesitation. They knew that a battle of those at the level of a Scarlet Moon demonic religion subdivision leader wasn't something they could be useful in. The only person who had the ability to do so was Old Su. However, Old Su gazed solemnly at the 4 and didn't dare to make any rash moves. Zhao Feng must have paid a heavy price to seal them in ice, and it's mainly succeeded. If I rashly do something... Old Su's expression was solemn. The other 3 were still resisting. Although the Scarlet Moon subdivision leader was sealed in ice, there were still strong surges of true force within his body. On the other hand, Protector Bloodcorpse seemed to have fainted, while Palace Lord Yulong's bloodline was still fighting back. I would have succeeded already if it was just the subdivision leader, but the difficulty has doubled with Palace Lord Yulong and Protector Bloodcorpse. Especially this Yulong. Zhao Feng murmured in his heart while he was in the center of it all. Palace Lord Yulong's bloodline was extremely strong and was able to resist Zhao Feng's cold bloodline. Zhao Feng, do you need any help? Old Su asked through true force. Only then did Zhao Feng realize Old Su and company had arrived. He was focused on sealing the other 3 and wasn't paying any attention to the outside world. If that's the case, Old Su's arrival changed Zhao Feng's plan. He had to leave some tricks up his sleeve just in case. He couldn't let his eye bloodline or Yuan Qi be fully exhausted. However, with the help of another true lord rank, he could act more freely. Old Su, you remain behind and tell the others to retreat 100 miles. Zhao Feng's voice sounded in Old Su's head. Okay. Old Su immediately ordered those from the Dragon-Killing Alliance to back away. He also retreated by 10 miles and killed some escaping members of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion on the way. Zhao Feng, let's see how much longer your bloodline power can last. I've been at the true spirit realm for 100 years and my source of true spirit is double yours. You'll definitely lose if this battle drags out. Although the subdivision leader couldn't speak, he could interact through his spiritual sense. Zhao Feng's expression didn't change. The difference between the 2 in terms of their source of true spirit was indeed big. From ice to water, Zhao Feng's bloodline aura and left eye suddenly changed. The freezing aura suddenly melted and turned into calm water. Even the surrounding ice was melting. The ice is melting? Joy flashed across the subdivision leader Beatty and Palace Lord Yulong's faces. What made the 2 surprised was that this was done by Zhao Feng himself. Sword of Water Moon. Zhao Feng circulated his remaining bloodline power and formed a sword made of water. Go! Zhao Feng's eyes sharpened as he stabbed forward. The sword of water passed smoothly through the melting ice. Shu, the sword hit the subdivision leader. Wu! The subdivision leader's body froze. He was just an instant away from breaking completely away from the ice when the sword pierced him. Bloodthirsty demonic body. The Scarlet Moon subdivision leader's eyes went red as his chi of true spirit started to boil. A dark, blood-colored flame erupted from him. On top of that, a demonic tattoo surfaced on his skin that strengthened his body and aura. Crack! Within a powerful eruption, the water and ice surrounding the Scarlet Moon subdivision leader shattered. From water to ice, Zhao Feng circulated the last bit of his bloodline power to turn the sword of water, which had pierced into the subdivision leader's body, into ice. Shoo! The sword turned into ice and stabbed through the subdivision leader's chest. Arg! The subdivision leader howled and used a secret technique that shattered and melted the sword of ice in his body. However, he was already severely injured, and death was close. If he didn't have a life-returning grass or elixir of life or something similar, he would die even if a sovereign at the Origin Core realm descended. Choso! The subdivision leader turned into a streak of light that sped off into the sky. Run! Palace Lord Yulong was the second to use a secret technique and flee into the sky cloud forest. Save me! Protector Blood Corpse had just awakened and his body was still cold. He currently couldn't move and was trying his best to circulate his chi of true spirit. Blade of Wind and Lightning. Zhao Feng waved his hand and sliced Protector Blood Corpse in two. After that, his eyes locked onto the two that were escaping. The subdivision leader's injury is critical and he will most likely die. Palace Lord Yulong still has 70% of his full strength. Killing intent blossomed from Zhao Feng's eyes. At this moment in time, the subdivision leader and Palace Lord Yulong were running in different directions. I can't let either one of them go. Zhao Feng was very decisive. Although the Scarlet Moon demonic religion subdivision leader shouldn't have any chance of living anymore, Zhao Feng still decided to go after him first, as he still had the God's Eye mark on Palace Lord Yulong. Wings of Wind and Lightning. Zhao Feng took a deep breath and circulated his chi of true spirit in a weird way. Wang. The heavens and earth seemed to howl with wind and hum with lightning. Light started to condense on Zhao Feng's back, finally forming a pair of wings. Wings of Wind and Lightning is the Wind Lightning Emperor's famous secret technique. I've only comprehended a tiny bit, but it's enough to increase my speed by more than half. Wind and lightning crackled behind Zhao Feng and seemed to resonate with the wind and lightning yuan qi in the air. What type of secret technique is that? Using the power of wind and lightning to form a pair of wings. Old Su's expression changed dramatically. Some distance away, Princess Jean and the other members of the Dragon Killing Alliance could all feel the terrifying aura coming from the pair of wings. No one doubted that Zhao Feng's speed and agility would greatly increase. It would definitely be a nightmare for the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. However, after a couple breaths, the blue-haired youth didn't move in the air. Wang. The pair of wings formed from wind and lightning started to fade. What's going on? Old Su, Princess Jean, and company were puzzled. You guys are damn lucky. Zhao Feng's power of wind and lightning dissipated as fatigue appeared on his face. The reason why the wings of wind and lightning stopped wasn't just because he hadn't gained enough comprehension, it was also because of his left eye. Within the dimension of his left eye, the 10-yard-wide pond had started to ripple violently. Wang. The water within the pond started to flow higher and higher, and it even started to leak out. Whoosh! The water kept on expanding, breaking past the 10-yard limit and entering a new level. Zhao Feng murmured and landed on the ground, exhausted. Zhao Feng then signaled Old Su and company when they arrived. Understood. Old Su nodded his head and Princess Jean quickly came over to help Zhao Feng. The others were all used to this by now. Zhao Feng smiled and fell asleep in Princess Jin's gentle embrace. The Iron Dragon Alliance has lost its momentum and control. It's time to return to the Broken Moon clan. Old Su glanced toward the directions that the subdivision leader and Palace Lord Yulong had escaped in and retreated. At the same time, within the dimension of his left eye, Dita, the water in the pond kept on overflowing and started to expand into the shape of a lake. Several days later, with Old Su leading the dragon-killing alliance, the group returned to the Cloud Country and the Broken Moon Clan. In the Cloud area, the Broken Moon Clan was now the core place of resistance against the Iron Dragon Alliance. In just the short span of a couple months, the Broken Moon Clan had expanded by twofold and was among the top of the 13 clans. Even after returning to the clan, Zhao Feng was still in a deep sleep. He was tended to by Princess Jean and company. On the other hand, Old Su organized the members of the Dragon-Killing Alliance and started to purge the 13 countries. Everything went as planned. With the Iron Dragon Alliance losing its leadership, everyone was like loose sand that crumbled in front of Dragon-Killing Alliance troops. Among them, Song Yue charged straight into the Iron Dragon country. Ever since the battle with Zhao Feng, her cultivation and skill in the sword had increased, and no one was her match. Of course, this was also because almost all of the strongest experts from the Iron Dragon Alliance had been killed or injured by Zhao Feng. Could be imagined that the Cloud area would undergo major changes in the times ahead. A month after Zhao Feng started sleeping, the forces of the Dragon-Killing Alliance attacked the two strong countries. The Sky-Rich Strong Country was first recovered by the Dragon-Killing Alliance. After all, the Dragon-Killing Alliance mainly consisted of those from the Sky-Rich 7 clans, and Old Su was even one of the clan's leading figures. Therefore, attacking the Sky-Rich Strong Country was completed with ease. After taking back the Sky-Rich Strong Country, the Dragon-Killing Alliance's fame surpassed the Iron Dragon Alliance's. This continued only till a certain day before the footsteps of the Dragon-Killing Alliance stopped. In the desolate lands of the Iron Dragon Strong Country, a large dark castle existed amidst howling winds. Bones covered the ground nearby. Old Su, this castle is the Iron Dragon Alliance's stronghold, and it has many people from the Scarlet Moon demonic religion inside. We've attacked several times and have had heavy losses, but we can't advance any further. Several true mystic rank figures stood in the sand with frustrated expressions. Old Su stood with his hands behind his back as he surveyed this castle. The entire castle was surrounded by a sandstorm and a weird black mist, which stopped those from outside from seeing within. Anyone whose cultivation was lower than the true spirit realm would find their body turning into a pile of white bones if they even touched this black mist. One could tell how terrifying this mist was by the bones scattered around the castle. Half a day later, winds howled in front of the castle. The 1,000 or 2,000 experts couldn't advance any further. Reporting to Old Su, 50 to 60 people have already died to the black mist. A true mystic rank and for true human ranks entered to scout out the castle an hour ago, but we can't contact any of them. News upon news was relayed back to the Dragon-Killing Alliance. Old Su was silent as he inspected this castle. Every time he used his spiritual sense, he would feel a coldness and uneasiness. Until a certain moment. So a cold youth in black flew through the sky. Lin Tong, you've come just in time. Do you know about this weird castle? Old Su and company turned toward the youth in black. Lin Tong was Zhao Feng's servant and didn't take orders from the Dragon-Killing Alliance, but Old Su had asked him for help. This castle was left behind by the Scarlet Moon demonic religion a long time ago, and it's extremely mysterious. The array that surrounds the castle is called the Devouring Spirit 10,000 Withering Array. Lin Tong explained. Devouring Spirit 10,000 Withering Array. The hearts of the upper echelon went cold just from hearing this name. The pile of bones proved that the Devouring Spirit 10,000 Withering Array lived up to its name. The Devouring Spirit 10,000 Withering Array is quite troublesome. I've heard of it before. It comes from the Scarlet Moon demonic religion and can ignore the battle tactic of overrunning them. A true mystic rank elder from the group side. This array is not only not scared of a lot of people attacking, it can also strengthen itself from devouring flesh and blood. The more you send means the more you are helping it. Lin Tong didn't have any sympathy and acted as if it didn't concern him. Several members of the upper echelon were instantly unhappy and had dim expressions. Before Lin Tong obeyed Zhao Feng, he was a genius of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. His gloating expression made others infuriated. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Tong was Zhao Feng's servant, they probably would have already attacked and killed him together. Old Su was silent for a moment before he spoke. Has Brother Zhao woken up yet? Master woke up 10 days ago, or else I wouldn't have even come here on my own accord. Lin Tong shrugged. He obeyed Zhao Feng as his life was in his hands. He wouldn't be ordered around by anyone else. No wonder. Everyone understood. Lin Tong wasn't someone to help others out. So, Brother Zhao has woken up already. When will he arrive? Old Su let out a breath. Zhao Feng should not care about the situation in the cloud area. Master is cultivating and will come after half a month to 2 months. Lin Tong said expressionlessly. Did Brother Zhao say anything else? Old Su asked. This is what Master said. I will leave the cloud area soon after exiting seclusion. Lin Tong answered. Leave the cloud area? Everyone present was dazed. What was going on? One had to know that the dragon-killing alliance was facing a lot of trouble. As long as the stronghold of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion wasn't destroyed, it would continue to threaten the cloud area. Is Zhao Feng that confident that he'll be able to destroy the stronghold after he comes? Some of the upper echelon felt uneasy. Lin Tong stood still and said nothing, but he felt disdainful of their questioning and suspicion. He recalled a memory in his mind. Zhao Feng awakening, and the aura that radiated from his left eye. Lin Tong sweated even now. Tell everyone not to attack. Old Su ordered. He decided to think it through and wait a while. Old Su didn't miss the change in Lin Tong's expression. Zhao Feng's strength must have increased greatly after this time. But why would he leave the cloud area so suddenly? Old Su felt puzzled. Lin Tong had now closed his eyes and remained silent. In the blink of an eye, another couple days passed by. So, 2 sharp auras came from the other side of the desert. A terrifying sword intent had appeared alongside the owner. Song Yuyue, the number 1 sword cultivator in the cloud area. The experts from the cloud area couldn't help but exclaim. One of the 2 newcomers was a beauty that was plainly dressed. It was Song Yuyue. Along with her was the woman in white. Fuck! It's that woman again. Lin Tong hiccuped. Last time, at the Broken Moon Clan, this elder had killing intent toward him. If it weren't for Zhao Feng, who knows what would have happened. Devouring Spirit, 10,000 Withering Array. Elder Bai's expression changed drastically as she stared at the pile of white bones and exclaimed. She was indeed worthy of being an elder of the 10,000 Sword Clan for immediately recognizing this array. Elder Bai, is this array very powerful? Song Yue's voice was full of confidence. Numbers don't mean anything to this array and will actually increase its power instead. The only way to break this array is for an expert to charge in and destroy the eye of the array. However, if there's an expert in this castle, then it'll be troublesome. Elder Bai's expression was solemn. There was a wisp of aura within the castle that made Elder Bai feel uneasy and slightly pressured. As time passed, more and more elites gathered in front of the castle. In this period of time, there were obviously experts that tried to scout out the castle, but none of them returned. Old Su remained silent and didn't attack. At the same time, within a secret hall in the Broken Moon Clan, Wang, a blue-haired youth's eyes were closed, and he radiated rings of cold air. These rings of cold air had a soul-chilling power. Peer. With a Wang, a half-transparent shadow of a spear appeared in his palm. The air seemed to tremble with its appearance, and an indescribable coldness froze the place. This terrifying aura was enough to make those at the True Lord rank unable to breathe. I can finally use a wisp of the Ice Imperial Spear's power. Before the breakthrough in my god's spiritual eye, my bloodline couldn't do this. Zhao Feng took a deep breath. At this moment, a shadow of the ice blue spear had appeared in his palm. It was the exact same image as the Ice Imperial Spear. The joy from this breakthrough was more than from the breakthrough in his god's spiritual eye. Half a breath later, Shua, the shadow of the Earth-grade weapon in Zhao Feng's hand disappeared. His expression was a slightly tired one, and he closed his eyes. In the dimension of his left eye, drip, a blue lake, more than a dozen yards wide, was as calm as a mirror. Zhao Feng's mind moved and a mysterious whirlpool appeared in the center of the small lake. Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye had finally broken through. The dimension of his left eye was now expressed by the shape of a lake, and it was 14 to 15 yards wide. On top of that, the remaining traces of the wood spirit soul essence that Zhao Feng had absorbed in the Purple Saint ruins was also taken in, or else the water in the lake wouldn't have reached such a size so quickly. Zhao Feng himself didn't even know what level his soul had reached, but he was sure that it was stronger than Lu Tianyi, who was at the half-step origin core realm. Wang, Zhao Feng spread his arms and an eye-catching pair of half-transparent wings made of wind and lightning condensed. Hu! A pair of wings made of wind and lightning appeared behind Zhao Feng's back. They were gently flapping, which summoned howling winds. The wisp of aura passed through the hall and resonated with the wind and lightning yuan qi outside. At this point in time, the wings were far more condensed than before. My wings of wind and lightning are only in the early stages and can only be used for flying currently. The real wings of wind and lightning have legendary skills, such as flying 10,000 miles in an instant, flying in the outside world, passing through space. Expectation appeared on Zhao Feng's face. The wind-lightning stone tablet in his mind formed a mental energy world that contained a lot of information. However, Zhao Feng had only comprehended around 1% of the entire wind-lightning stone tablet. Within his source of true spirit, there was an occasional flicker of faint purple that contained the true spirit flame of wind and lightning. Transparent, azure, purple, scarlet, gold. These were the rankings in the wind-lightning stone tablet. Because of the wind-lightning palm, lightning inheritance, etc., Zhao Feng had cultivated the azure color to the maximum. At the same time, a voice sounded from outside. Chapter Leader Zhao, you're finally done. When will we return to the canopy great country? The aura from Zhao Feng's wings of wind and lightning had startled those outside. Shua! Zhao Feng's expression didn't change as the wings of wind and lightning faded. With a chiu, he vanished and appeared outside. Outside the hall, a male and female stood on Zhao Feng's left and right, and they seemed to be very expectant. Jiang Sanfeng, Dai Yi, I already told you that I'll return to the canopy great country once my business here is done. Zhao Feng said faintly, not curious why the two were here. When Zhao Feng was sleeping, these two geniuses that had participated in the sacred True Dragon Gathering came to the 13 countries and found the Broken Moon clan. Their results in the sacred True Dragon Gathering were unexpectedly good, mainly due to the fact that Zhao Feng protected them and saved their sacred True Dragon tokens, allowing them to last till the final 100. Jiang Sanfeng and Dai Yi had come out from their respective inheritances several months ago. Of course, the ones they went to were normal small inheritances and relatively safer. However, even then, their cultivation and strength increased by leaps and bounds. It was enough for them to reach the top tier of geniuses across the continent. Chapter Leader Zhao, after the sacred True Dragon Gathering ended, the Deputy Patriarch didn't give up, so he sent people scouting. There are more than just a couple forces that are interested in your whereabouts. Jiang Sanfeng smiled and said, That's right, we came to the cloud area to see if we were lucky and to complete our task. But we didn't think you would really be here. But, Chapter Leader, you were always sleeping or in seclusion and didn't even talk to us. Dai Yi pouted. Complete your task? How is the Deputy Patriarch so sure that I didn't die in the inheritance? Zhao Feng asked with a weird expression. I'm not sure, but the Deputy Patriarch went to see the 6 Warlock Divine Sage and might have received some information. The two shook their heads uncertainly. 6 Warlock Divine Sage? Zhao Feng squinted his eyes and his god spiritual eye had a weird sensation. It wasn't the first time he had heard of the 6 Warlock Divine Sage. Apparently, Empress Qin was once the 6 Warlock Divine Sage's disciple. Relax, even if you didn't rush me, I would return to the canopy great country, but not before I clear out the threats of the cloud area. Zhao Feng stopped the two. The cloud area was a desolate and barren place for these two that came from the canopy great country. It lacked resources and heaven-earth yuan qi, and their cultivation speed was much slower. Jiang Sanfeng and Dai Yi didn't want to stay here any longer than they needed to. 2 days later, in the desolate desert of the Iron Dragon country. The layer of black mist surrounding the castle hadn't weakened. On the contrary, it became even more wicked and evil. Piles of bones were stacked around the castle. The several thousand elites from the dragon-killing alliance had surrounded the castle, but even then, they didn't feel safe. Jiang! Shoo! Several eye-catching beams of sword light slashed into the black mist surrounding the castle, and cracks instantly appeared around that area. In the sky, Song Yuyue and Elder Bai had attacked and shaken the devouring spirit 10,000 withering array. Elder Bai's attacks were as beautiful as a rainbow and could be seen within a 10-mile radius. This Elder Bai is indeed worthy of coming from the #1 sword clan of the northern continent. Any casual attack from her contains unparalleled power that surpasses anyone in the cloud area. No old true lord rank is probably her match here. The upper echelon of the dragon-killing alliance, including Old Su and company, were respectful of Elder Bai. None of them were confident they could block even one attack from her. That Song Yuyue is also terrifying. After entering the 7-sword inheritance, her sword intent can even kill early-stage true lord ranks. Her future is immeasurable. Maybe she'll reach Sword Saint Yi Wuxia's level later on. The power displayed by Elder Bai and Song Yuyue was something the dragon-killing alliance could only look up to. However, the devouring spirit 10,000 withering array was more troublesome than imagined. Although their attacks could break through the black mist easily, the broken places would heal themselves after a couple breaths. As long as there are enough primal crystal stones and enough air of death here, the devouring spirit 10,000 array will keep on recovering. Lin Tong looked from afar with coldness. This stronghold was obviously filled with the air of death. One could see from how many bones there were. 10,000 swords piercing through the heart. Elder Bai waved her sleeve and sword beams formed a magnificent light. The power of this sword made the sun and moon lose their color, and the experts watching felt as if their hearts had been pierced through. This sword's power has almost exceeded the true lord rank. Old Su's heart shook. He had never seen someone with such terrifying battle power, including Zhao Feng. Everyone saw a brilliant beam of sword light pierce into the castle. A large part of the black mist dissipated, revealing some of the scenery behind. 10,000 sword technique? After several hundred years, I see this technique again. Is this destiny? A mysterious voice sounded from the castle. The voice was very faint and had a coldness to it. The hearts of the several thousand experts in front of the castle shook. Those at the true spirit realm that were more sensitive trembled with uneasiness. The raspy voice contained a terrifying power that could pass through the soul. Who are you? Elder Bai's expression changed. She felt an aura which made her, who was at the peak true lord rank, uneasy. Wu! A human-shaped skeleton suddenly appeared above the castle. Its body was a mixture between gold and silver, and 2 dark red flames seemed to jump around in its sockets. The mysterious skeleton exchanged glances with Elder Bai, and the latter acted as if she had been struck. This mental energy aura, is it a sovereign at the origin core realm? No, at best it can only be at the half-step origin core realm, or else it wouldn't need to hide behind the array. Elder Bai's eyes twinkled uncertainly, but she let out a breath in the end. As long as the opponent wasn't at the origin core realm, she didn't fear any challenge given her peak true lord rank cultivation. Shwa! A black flag appeared in front of the skeleton that flapped gently, and it started to fix the gap in the array. Don't even think about it. Elder Bai snickered coldly and teamed up with Song Yue to attack toward the gap. Stop them. The mysterious skeleton's raspy voice sounded. Yes, division leader. Several dozen figures appeared near the castle. The weakest of these auras was at the peak true human rank. The 3 strongest auras were at the true lord rank, and they stood in a row in the sky. One of them was a chubby figure holding a giant battle axe. He had a dazed expression and smelled horrible. Subdivision leader Beatty. He's not dead. Old Su and company were shocked. Subdivision leader Beatty was severely injured by Zhao Feng, and the chances of him surviving were very slim. No, he's probably a living dead person now. He has been turned into a ghost corpse with a secret technique in order to preserve his battle power. But he can only survive for another month or two. Lin Tong glanced coldly at the 3 true Lord rank auras. A subdivision leader of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Elder Bai's expression became solemn. Subdivision leader Beatty's cultivation had reached the peak True Lord rank, and he was at the same level as her. To be able to turn a peak True Lord rank into a ghost corpse. This skeleton is obviously at the division leader level. Lin Tong's voice trembled slightly, but no one knew whether it was out of fear or excitement. Scarlet Moon division leader. The hearts of the dragon-killing alliance shook with fear and shock. Division leaders were the upper echelon in the Scarlet Moon demonic religion even in the old days. Several hundred years later, this member of the upper echelon appeared once again. How much of a shock was it to the puny cloud area? Who? The black mist appeared once more and submerged the skeletal division leader's figure. Kill! The subdivision leader waved his battleaxe and charged toward Elder Bai and Song Yue. On Beatty's left and right were Palace Lord Yulong and another gray-robed elder. They were both at the late-stage True Lord rank. 1 peak True Lord rank, 2 late-stage True Lord ranks. How terrifying was this combination? So. Behind the 3 True Lord ranks were additional powerful auras at the True Spirit realm who hid themselves in the mist and defended the castle. The battle had started.